right into the teeth of the Oxford defensive front. If the Falcons can average 3 or 4 yards on inside handoffs on 1st and 10, you like the odds of being able to move the chains.
That will be done by 8:45.
That too.
2nd down and 7 for Columbus from about the 17-yard line of Oxford. Stowers is joined in the backfield again by Jordan. The receivers flanked out are Javorius Vance, Kenneth Martin, and Michelob Garrett. Here's the snap to Stowers. He throws about a 5-yard pass pattern in the flats. Kenneth Martin catches it shy of the first down marker, but about a 5-yard pickup, and that will bring up 3rd down and short.
First pass attempt from Stowers, and looked pretty good. Got the ball there, and it was accurate, and now 3rd and short.
And you want to see, I would assume you want to see his pain threshold as well. You want to see how much mobility he has, and you're going to do that with simple throws to start the game. Timeout Columbus, 7:24 first quarter, 3rd down when we come back. No score in the ball game. This is Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSV.
Many seniors live active and healthy lives, but there's no getting around the fact that as we age, our bodies change. There are things you can do to stay healthy as you age, including maintaining a balanced diet, staying active, and preventing falls, and most importantly, getting regular checkups. OCH offers the programs and services you need to address senior health issues. We're committed to health and healing, and whatever stage of life you're in, OCH is here. We know a healthy life is a happy life.
7 minutes, 24 seconds to go in the first quarter. Columbus will face a 3rd down and short yardage. 3rd down and about 2 now from the Oxford 23-yard line. Initial possession of the ball game for the Falcons. We're still in a scoreless game. Latarius Stowers at quarterback. This time in the backfield with him is Kelvin Smith. And here's the handoff. It goes to Patrick Jackson, who had a good block but simply lost his footing. And it's going to be shy of the first down, shy by about half a yard. We'll see. After they spot it, they may measure this. Well, they moved the football again. It's even closer now that they've moved it one more time.
He got a favorable spot.
They are going to call it 4th down and about a yard. And we'll see what the Falcons elect to do. They're going to punt the football. Chris Taylor is going to trot out and stand on around his 12-yard line.
As much as you want to go for it here, inside your own 25, first quarter, that's a risk not worth taking right now.
Very surprised they did not measure that. It is short, but surprised they didn't measure it. 4th down and a yard. Chris Taylor will punt, standing from his own 12. Kick is away. Minimal pressure from Oxford. And it bounces at the 20. It's fielded at the 16. And taking it up to about the 30-yard line for Oxford, that was Samuel Bianco. Yes, one of those. Samuel Bianco on the punt return. That will go officially as a 61-yard kick for Chris, which I would believe is a season long. Certainly right in that area. He's averaging 37 yards a kick this year on 56 punts. Because I always know the kicking statistics off the top of my head, but
always.
Coach,
that's why you're here, Scott.
Coach Montgomery asked this morning about that particular stat, so have that one in front of me.
Well, that was one heck of a punt. He got all of that one, and then some.
1st down and 10 now from the 30-yard line. Columbus did not send a big group back. They were trying to protect the punter. The 1st down pass play goes in the flats, and it will go for 1st down yardage. And that is Webb again, Jaquan Webb, on the catch from McClure. Number 9 Webb, and they're going to spot the football at the 45-yard line of Columbus. So a 25-yard pickup there on 1st down. 1st down and 10 for Oxford from the Columbus 45-yard line. Here's the snap, handoff to Wadlington, and again he is stopped after about a 2-yard gain. In on the initial stop this time around is Josh Gray.
On the 1st down play, Scott, on the previous 1st down play, simple quick screen to the outside, and Webb got a nice block along the far sideline and simply ran up the sideline. That's the right sideline as Oxford goes from right to left and picked up 25 yards.
So 2nd down and 8 coming up for Oxford. Ball at the Columbus 43-yard line. McClure this time passes in the flats again to Webb, and he is going to be brought down around the 39-yard line. Good individual tackle that time by Jordan Randall, and then Montrez Williams is there to help finish him off. So that bring up a 3rd down and 4, 3rd and short situation for the Chargers.
And that was the same play as the first play of the drive, and that time the Falcons defended it much better.
This is Oxford. Scoreless still in the ball game. Arlington, and he is going to be stopped shy of the 3rd down, so it'll be 4th down and 1 coming up from the 36-yard line.
Yeah, Scott, I would imagine Oxford goes for it right here. A yard to go, you're just inside the Falcon 40-yard line.
The Chargers in their bunch formation out of the Wildcat. The pitch goes, and the running back carries it easily down to about the 23-yard line before being forced out of bounds. That was Jeremiah Pegues out of the Wildcat formation for Oxford, and he carries it all the way down to about the 20-yard line.
So a gain of close to 16 yards to move the chains on 4th down.
So 1st down and 10 Oxford now from the 20. The nose of the football just inside the red zone. They do the same thing. Pegues again, 15, 10, 5. He's got a corner and will go all the way into the end zone for the touchdown. He's a big back, 6'2", 245. And got good speed as well, and once he got up that good head of steam and got one block around the left end, able to take it into the end zone for the touchdown.
Nice run blocking off that left side to bust it open. The Falcon defense on 2 straight Wildcat formations, jumbo Wildcat formations, just simply out of position a little bit, and they'll have to correct that because I would imagine we'll see Pegues more often as the ball game wears on.
So Oxford takes a 6-0 lead in the ball game. Extra point is upcoming. Here is the kick. It's on its way, and it is good. And that is Josh Tannehill. Josh Tannehill, or is that Jack? Jack Tannehill, my staple going right through his first name. Jack Tannehill is good on the extra point. 7-0 Oxford. Timeout now. Back with the kickoff after this. Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSV.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Alrighty, Oxford takes it 70 yards on 6 plays, 2-minute, 25-second drive. And with 3:53 to go in the first quarter, a 20-yard touchdown run by Jeremiah Pegues has given the Chargers a 7-0 lead in the ballgame. They will now kick it off. Oxford's going from right to left at our vantage point. So Columbus will field the short kickoff at the 20, 25, 30. And then taking off of his feet there is Jordan Randall, and he's tackled by a group of Oxford players around the 31-yard line. And now the Columbus offense will go on the attack, 1st down and 10 from its own 31. And the Falcons will need to start putting some things together offensively to stay in the contest early.
Yeah, disappointing to see the defense give up the score on Oxford's second possession. Nothing fancy with what Oxford did, but I'm not sure if planning for the power Wildcat with Pegues at quarterback was something that the Falcon defense practiced.
It is a 1st down handoff to Derek Jordan, and he takes it right up the middle for about a 2-yard pickup. And the Falcons will now face a 2nd down and long.
We heard pregame Randall Montgomery talk about all the different formations Oxford's offense throws at you, and that's what makes them difficult to stop. And we saw that they're on their second possession, the most recent drive, where they had about 3 or 4 different formations that led to that touchdown run for Pegues.
Second down and 8 Falcons from their own 33-yard line. This is again Derek Jordan. He does not get a block. He's taken down behind the line of scrimmage. And for Oxford, on that stop was Xavier Harrod, I guess. Xavier Harrod on the takedown, a 4-yard loss of Derek there on second down, and now 3rd and 12 for the Falcons. They are back to the line of scrimmage quickly, get this play off. Stowers is back to throw, passes in the flats to Derek, and he is able to take it all the way up to the 40-yard line, but again is cut down about a yard shy of the first down. He'll be right at 1 yard shy of the first down after an 11-yard pickup. And that's the other thing, Anthony. It's a 4th down and 1 situation. The Falcons keep their offense on the field, and now they're going to think better of it and send the punting unit out. 11 yards on that pass play. And that's the other challenge here, your inability to run the football. They're not even 1 yard guarantees.
Correct. And that's, or else you would think Coach Montgomery might decide to go for it here if the O-line and running game were operating at a bit higher level.
Here's Chris Taylor's punt. High end over end kick will bounce and go out of bounds. Yeah, a year ago you had a consistent feeling that a running play at worst would go for 2 or 3 yards.
Right.
So you did not have that fear of a 4th and 1, 4th and 1.5. What do I do? Is this where the ball game's getting away from me? And that's the challenge right now, is the fact that there's a penalty on this punt as well. We'll have to see what has happened here. That's the challenge there, is the inability to run the football removes any doubt on that kind of stuff.
It was some motion on the offense.
I would think after a short kick, Oxford will decline it and take the ball.
And that's what they're going to do.
Okay, so they did not spot. Have they spotted? Yes, they've spotted the ball at the 28. So officially a 32-yard kick this time for Chris.
His average is still very good, but certainly that was 30 yards shorter than his previous punt tonight.
So Oxford will take over 1st down and 10.
Brings the ball back to the 28-yard line.
From its own 28-yard line. The Chargers will have their 3rd possession of the ball game here.
The good news offensively for Columbus, Stowers so far 2 for 2 through the air for 15 yards. But no first downs yet to show for it.
Oxford waiting to get the play call in. McClure again is joined in the backfield only by Wadlington. The Falcons have kept the running game in check. Pass in the flats, and it's caught at the 34-yard line and taken down there by Jordan Randall. That was Demara Burt. So that play goes for 6 yards.
First catch tonight for anyone other than Webb.
2nd and 6.
But yet again, another Oxford screen pass.
So 2nd down and 4 coming up.
All 3 of McClure's completions tonight have been screen passes, all to the right side.
From the 34-yard line, heavy pressure again, and McClure will throw the football away. And that back, getting heavy pressure back there, that time was Yoke.
Do nothing on that play, have no idea what the play call was. That's how badly the play was blown up by that Columbus defense. Now, a big 3rd and 6 for the Falcon D.
1 minute, 6 seconds to go in the first quarter. Oxford on a 20-yard touchdown run on their last possession, holding a 7-0 lead in the ball game. 3rd down and 4 now. A play is signaled in, and McClure needs a timeout. There was some confusion there, exactly what they wanted to do, so a timeout is called. We'll take it with them. A big 3rd down for Oxford when we come back. This is Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSP.
Are you searching for an opportunity to earn an advanced degree but can't attend class on campus because of work and family commitments? Want to learn from outstanding professors and gain the skills you need to advance your career at an affordable price with a flexible schedule? Mississippi State University's 29 online master's and doctoral degree programs might be a perfect fit for your busy lifestyle. You can visit distance.msstate.edu if you want to learn more. Mississippi State University, where we ring true.
All righty, 3rd down and 4 coming up for the Chargers. Another possession play. Columbus would like to get the stop, preferably get a short punt here, but first things first, got to get the stop on 3rd down. McClure and Wadlington in the backfield for the Chargers. Here is the snap. Quarterback's back to throw. Pressure again, and the pass is incomplete, and the Falcons are fortunate. Devin King's my best friend, but I'm not sure everything he did on that play was legal.
Hey, listen, it's only illegal if the penalty gets called.
So when you drive 80 and at 65, it's not really illegal unless you're stopped.
That's what the kids say.
Okay. 4th.
I'm not condoning that. I'm just
4th down and 4, and the Columbus defense again has gotten a good stop. Here is the punt. It goes high end over end. Jordan Randall will stay away from it, and the punt is down at the 23-yard line. So this time the kick will go 43 yards, and Oxford will go 1st down and 10 from its own 33-yard line. I know, Anthony, it's early and all that, but even though they're behind, I would think Columbus likes how this game has started.
Certainly. I mean, they gave up the one touchdown when Oxford used a bit of a trick formation. They went to the Wildcat early, and the Falcons were not ready for it, but a big-time response on that last possession by your defense. Now the offense has it in fairly good field position.
1st down and 10, Columbus from its own 23-yard line. 50 seconds to go in the first quarter, and the Chargers have jumped this time, and it will be a false. It will be a offsides on the defense, and the young man that committed the infraction runs off the field. I don't know.
He runs off the field, but stays as far away from the coaching staff as he possibly can, and now he's doing push-ups. And he's doing push-ups on the sideline.
That's what's happening there. Okay, I was going to say, as soon as the flag was thrown, he immediately left the proceedings. 1st down and 5 now from the 28-yard line. Here is the snap back to Stowers. It's a long throw, and Javorius Vance is fighting one-on-one with the DB for Oxford, and that was Demarion Palm, and the throw was slightly overthrown, and that will bring up a 2nd down and 5.
That was really good man coverage down the field for Oxford.
It was good to see Letarius, though, drop back and throw it about 30, 35, 40 yards in the air. That's a good sign.
Very good sign.
South Panola leading South Haven 14-0 tonight. Tupelo leading DeSoto Central by that same score. Pass this time in the flats, and it's caught, and that is by Kenneth Martin, and the yardage is good for the 1st down. This is really what Columbus would like to do. They would like to consistently fill the air with 7 to 10 yard pass patterns. If they could do that on a consistent basis, I think Randall Montgomery would be a happy man tonight.
And that was a nice 8-yard completion on a slant, and Stowers hit Martin. 2nd catch tonight for Martin.
1st down and 10 from the 36-yard line. Stowers back to throw again. Derek Jordan catches it in the backfield up to the 40-yard line. And the other thing we've seen so far, Anthony, the offensive line has given Stowers time, and that's been a concern throughout the year. And here in the first quarter of play, Letarius has had time to make plays.
And the coaches are calling quick passing plays to give Stowers a chance to get comfortable.
We'll see if they can get one more play off before the quarter, and they will not. So that will end the first quarter. We've played one, and we are in Lowndes County. This is not DeSoto County, not Lafayette County. We're home. Oh, my goodness, this feels so good. At the end of one quarter of play, Oxford 7, Columbus nothing. This is Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSB.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in the back of your closet. What happened to us? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Okay, maybe I never really fit you right, but I got a lot more Sunday fun days left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Anthony Craven, Scott Walker's back with you. Anthony, second quarter of play, 7-0 Oxford. I don't want to overemphasize the first quarter, but certainly it's a situation where the Falcons are trying to do some things differently tonight on offense. They're getting the ball away more quickly. They're trying to get Stowers more protection, and they're using the 5 to 7 yard pass play more.
And they've called now 5 passes and just 4 rushes. And Stowers right now 4 of 5 through the air.
Second down and 5, Columbus from the 40-yard line. Oxford with a 7-0 lead on the ball in the ball game. This time the pass is in the flats to Derek Jordan's got a block, got another block, makes a man miss, and he's down to the 50-yard line, down to midfield. And we've said it so many times this year, if you could get any type of consistency, I mean, you've got to be able to pass and run the ball. And the fact that Columbus has been unable to do one or the other each game has put them in a difficult situation. But if you can consistently hit the 10-yard pass play, your running backs will have lanes.
That's the key. And now Columbus 2 first downs on this drive and a chance to move into Oxford territory.
Ball right at midfield. Stowers is back to throw. Pass is thrown over the middle. And Lataeus just had to get that ball away. The intended receiver was actually open in traffic, but open. That was Quinn Robertson, and simply Lataeus was going down and threw the football away as quickly as he could, and that just missed by just inches of going for a long pass play.
Scott, I'm really liking the offensive play calling right now for Columbus.
And the other thing is they're giving Stowers time, and that's the offensive line has done well tonight in allowing that opportunity. Second down and 10 now from midfield. Pass back. Stowers overthrows Kenneth Martin around the 38-yard line. A little too much pepper on that on that one.
A little too much. Scott, I see a flag thrown along the far side. I think Oxford had 12 players on the field on that last snap.
Okay, well, hopefully that will be the case. You can't do that, can you?
According to the rules, you cannot.
I bet you could in South Haven.
Listen, it was. Now they're going to pick it up and wave it off.
They'll wave the flag off. So apparently, whatever they thought they may have had, after conferring, the officials conferred, which you're supposed to do. It's okay to confer if you have something to confer about. This conferring just to check on the weather that we did last Friday night gets a little irritating. Third down and 10 from midfield now, and the Falcons facing a possession play. Stowers with the snap, back to throw. Pass goes to Derek Jordan. He made one man miss and is taken down at the 44-yard line. So a gain of about 6, and that will bring up a 4th down and 4. And we'll see what the Falcons elect to do here in Oxford territory for the first time tonight.
Because you were able to get 6 on the screen. Well, no, it appears to be the punt team.
It is going to be the punt team. We'll see what Columbus is electing to at least go into punt formation here. But a situation where, again, you're slowly winning the field position battle.
Which is key.
Here is the kick by Chris Taylor. He does it rugby style, takes it, snap, runs with it, and then gets it off. The kick is taken at the 5 and all the way up to about the 14-yard line. That was Bianco again. And punt that time will go for 51 yards. And Chris Taylor is enjoying his senior night with 10:38 to go in the first half of play. Oxford, and I just put S. I just put S in my book. There's no South Haven or anybody, Sapanola here or anybody else.
Listen, that South Haven game lasted so long, I'm surprised it's not still being played.
Oh, goodness, I'm still putting S's. First down and 10 from the 15-yard line. Knoxville County leading 14-0 tonight. My buddy Keziah Pruitt has scored a touchdown. He's pretty good for the Tigers. They're trying to wrap up their region tonight. They go in as the region number 1 with a win tonight. Wadlington falls forward this time for about a 3-yard pickup. Jordan Randall on the stop. And other than the 2 running plays out of the Wildcat formation, the Falcons have done a good job against the run tonight.
Wadlington has 6 first-half carries and has not netted more than 3 yards on any of those carries.
So second down and 6, second down and 7 coming up for Oxford. About 20 minutes ago, or 30 minutes ago, Jose Altuve tweeted, the Astros and Yankees are playing at 7 tonight. I don't think that was really Altuve. I think we got fooled on that. The second down pass play goes in the flats. It was a very nice tweet inviting you to order Papa John's while the Astros played tonight, but I just...
Maybe Jose wanted someone to order him Papa John's there in the dugout.
I just don't think that's how that went down. Yeah, the pass went to Burt for no gain, so a 3rd down and 6 coming up now for Oxford from the 19-yard line. The Chargers still protecting a 7-0 lead, which was gained about midway through the first quarter of play. But as we mentioned pregame, this is the kind of game Oxford plays. They've had a lot of low-scoring, defensive-oriented type ball games, so I would think both coaches right now are real happy.
Both have to be comfortable right now.
3rd down and short. Here is the pass. And the Chargers, the miscommunication there, that was a flat. The pass went into the flats, and the receiver was supposed to turn back toward the ball, and instead he kept going. So that's about a 10-yard difference between where the ball was thrown and where the receiver was. And all of a sudden, the credit for the punt decision was the correct one, because you've gotten the 3 and out, and now you're going to hopefully get a Jordan Randall punt return here.
The defense made it the correct choice by playing really well.
Here is the kick. It's a short kick. It will bounce and be downed at the 49-yard line. Well, I don't think you call that down, whatever he did. He bobbled it, but the play will end at the
It's ruled down, yes.
The play will end at the 49-yard line.
So after the punt and the 3 and out, the Falcons get the ball back in almost the exact same spot where they had it, facing that 4th and 5 on their previous offensive possession.
So they'll go 1st down and 10. They'll spot the ball at the 48-yard line. And we'll see what the Falcons elect to do here on offense. Kenneth Martin now, the senior wide receiver, caught both touchdowns last week. He caught one from Latarius before he got hurt, and then caught one from Craddock in relief there in the second half. And he is lined out to the left side this time. Derek Jordan, good hard running on 1st down. Is not going to have a lot to show for it, but about a 2-yard gain. And the running backs, it's just a struggle to get that initial block.
Yeah, that's... Jordan, if he had been able to break one arm tackle there, if he can get to the second level, there's room to run. But you're right, that defensive front right now is still getting enough penetration on the Columbus O-line that the inside running lanes, the A and the B gaps right now are getting clogged pretty quickly.
2nd down and 9. They're going to spot it back at the 47 by the time that play is over. 2nd and 9 from the 47 of Oxford. Stowers on a rollout, throws, and the pass is complete. And this goes for the 1st down. Our man, Javorius Vance, who's been missing in action. He's been in uniform, and we've seen him in class, but making the catch that time, and that'll go for about a 10-yard pass play. And 1st down and 10 from the 36-yard line.
Nicely done. As you mentioned, first catch tonight for Vance. 3rd 1st down tonight for the Falcons.
Falcons from the Charger 36. Snap is low, but Stowers picks it up, throws down the sidelines, and the ball is intercepted at the 1-yard line. Wow. That was an individual one-on-one battle between Vance and the Oxford DB, and the DB won it, and that was Demarion Palm. That was a jump ball. And the DB had the inside track.
Well, one thing you're always told as a quarterback on those types of fly routes, deep fly routes, throw it where the only guy who possibly can get there is your guy. And that time, Stowers, who's now getting a talking to on the sideline from his head coach, just left enough air underneath it that the DB was able to seal off the intended wide receiver and make the catch. And now we'll see if they're going to mark this down inside the 5 or actually rule it a touchback.
They're going to rule it a touchback, which is not a good call because he caught it and went out of bounds at the 1.
Which was the initial call by the official who was right there.
So when Coach Montgomery finishes being not pleased with his quarterback, he will see this spot and not be pleased with that either.
And now he's...
That earlier moment when I said both coaches were happy about everything going here is no longer in effect.
That has already passed us.
1st down and 10, Oxford. They'll spot the ball at the 20, ruling a touchback on the interception. Here is the handoff to Wadlington on 1st down. He pushes the power forward, and that does a really good job hard running that time. Isaiah Karam gets the final stop, but moved the pile twice, and I got about a 7-yard pickup on 1st down.
Easily Wadlington's best rush tonight. as Oxford now with some momentum after the first turnover of the evening, trying to move it just inside their own 30.
So 2nd down and 3, McClure passes in the flats, and it will go forward to the forward the first down. And that time, that was Pegues. I was wondering when we saw him out of the Wildcat earlier, we've got a flag down first. I was wondering if they ever threw it to him because he is a big man.
He's one of their 4 top receivers in terms of yards and receptions on the season. Certainly Bianco, Burt, and Webb.
I would think the first tackle will not get him very often.
No. In fact, looking deeper at the stats, Pegues is the leading receiver on the year.
Sometimes you hang those small ornaments on the Christmas tree and they fall off all the time. You got to hang a really big bulb on him.
Yes.
2nd down and 8. It is a false start on Oxford. And that'll push the Chargers back to the 22. 7:27 clock running here, second quarter of play. Oxford leading 7-0. McClure again with heavy pressure. And the timing is off again. The pass was intended for Webb. And the Columbus defense has come to play tonight.
They have held McClure now to 4 of 9 passing. His last 3 passes have all gone incomplete. So the front 7 and now the DBs both doing a good job, Scott, as you mentioned, defensively on in this Oxford offense.
3rd down and long coming up, 3rd down and 8 for the Chargers, and you'd like to see the Columbus defense get one more stop here while the field position's in their favor. McClure throws it, and it's intercepted at the 35-yard line. Jordan Ramble to the 30, needs a block. It does not get it. 27-yard line was where he's taken down. We got a penalty marker afterwards.
Flag on the play.
It's either a block. There was a face mask at the end of the return, but there was also a block in the back. We'll have to see which one the flag goes for.
Either way,
actually, there are 2 flags.
Either way, Scott, the Falcons will have the ball. What a fantastic answer. After you throw an interception, you come back, you force Oxford into a 3rd and long, and then you get an interception, and now all of a sudden the Falcons in business inside the Oxford 30.
It is a hold on the return against Columbus.
We'll check that. It'll be inside the Oxford 40 after the mark-off. Still, though, fantastic play. And momentum now has shifted back to the Falcons, even though they trail 7-0.
7:09 to go in the first half, and the ball will be spotted at the 38-yard line. And on a consistent basis tonight, they've gotten heavy pressure on McClure. And that was one he threw. That was he's done a good job of throwing the ball away a couple of times when Columbus got back to him, but that particular time it was an ill-advised throw when the pressure mounted like that. Stowers on the run to the right side, and he's going to be taken down for a loss. And this time Columbus couldn't get anybody open, not even in the flats. And that will go down as a quarterback sack, about a 2-yard loss on the run. And that's really probably the first time tonight that Letarius has been taken down.
It is. First time we've seen him try to scramble tonight, too.
So 2nd down and 12 coming up. Ball's at the 41-yard line officially with 6 minutes, 38 seconds clock running to go here in the second quarter of play. A good ball game, a defensive ball game. And the Falcons down 7-0. Here's the snap. Stowers is back, heavy pressure again, eludes the man, and simply keeps it. And that's one thing you don't want to see tonight. He gave up on the pass play too quickly that time, and that was what was happening earlier in the year when the offensive line on those nights they weren't blocking well. He was abandoning the pass and quickly running the ball. And tonight the Falcons have been able to get passing lanes open, so you really don't want your quarterback, who's already not 100%, to run the draw play that often. That time it goes for no gain. So a 3rd down and long, 3rd down and 12 now from the 41-yard line. He got it right back where it was. Stowers this time throws, and the pass is batted away at the last second. Excellent defense by Oxford. Javorius Vance was the intended receiver. And again, that was Palm who had the interception a moment ago. with the pass breakup. And Javorius Vance apparently is going to be an intended target tonight. He's not. It's more Kenneth Martin and Derek Jordan for the short passes, and then it's going to be Javorius when you're trying to stretch the field and go 20, 25, 30 yards downfield.
Well, Scott, it seems as if with just over 5 to go first half, these two defenses have settled in and really gained control right now of the ball game.
Chris Taylor will punt the ball from midfield, and the kick's taken at the 12 up to the 20 and then all the way up to the 24-yard line. That's where he's brought down there. And so that will be a 46-yard kick by Chris. Oxford will take over first down and 10 from, I believe, its own 24. We've got a stoppage of play again and another conference.
Yeah, flag thrown. Yeah, it's going to be
declined.
Yeah, motion against the kicking team.
A penalty on Columbus. It is declined, so Oxford will take it first down and 10 from its own 24 with 5 minutes, 44 seconds to go in the ball game. Jason Crowder, halftime report coming up.
Yes. Are you excited?
I am. Mississippi State, Kentucky tomorrow at Davis Wade. Very big ball game.
Yes.
Ole Miss, LSU in Oxford. The return of the O.
Yes.
Very big ball game.
Very entertaining matchup as far as Coach O's return to Oxford, and with LSU's huge win over Auburn. Lots to look for there in those two Magnolia State matchups tomorrow.
So first down play, heavy pressure again. McClure throws it and overthrown. Two big ball games, and certainly Ole Miss has a chance to get back above 500 tomorrow night. And Mississippi State playing at home, looking for 5-2. And I think a lot of people were disappointed after the losses to Auburn and Georgia. But if you could come away from tomorrow at 5-2,
yes,
a lot of excitement for the final 5 games.
If through 7 ball games with that schedule, the Bulldogs have played, if you're 5-2 and 2-2 in league play, yes, you take that, you say thank you, and you move on for what you hope will be a pretty big November.
And Jason will, of course, have a preview of all those games coming up at the half. The second down pass play, this time he's got a receiver who drops it, and the intended receiver was Dede Pigues, and he had a step on his DB, and they're unable to make the catch.
That was the best ball McClure's thrown this half, and his wide receiver just dropped it.
Had a little more time that time, too. Alabama's got an inter-squad tomorrow.
Right. When's the last time you've seen a point spread for an SEC rivalry game where the favorite was, what, a 36 point favorite? A 5-touchdown favorite.
30-10.
That's incredible.
That's the mid-afternoon CBS game tomorrow.
Of course it is. Third
down, even though the scoreboard is still second down, and the pass is incomplete and the clock is running. So we just got all kind of stuff going on here.
Well, it's as you said before, we have some confusion.
We do. So that will bring up a fourth down. The Columbus defense again with the stop.
I'll tell you what, Scott, I can't remember the last time McClure had a completion. He is now 4 of 13. And the Falcon defense right now getting pressure on him, and all the wideouts are getting covered up by the secondary.
Here is the bad snap on the punt. Falcons are back. They are unable to get the block. Isaiah Karam was back. The punt is gotten off and will roll all the way to the 33-yard line. I have no idea how he got that off.
It was a bad snap, as you mentioned. Then it was dropped and then kicked a little bit, and then finally the punt got off and ends up being a fantastic punt, all things considered. Got a very nice bounce, a favorable Oxford roll, and the Columbus offense now takes over inside their own 35-yard line, but a heck of a job done. Ever since that second possession for Oxford's offense, the Columbus defense has not surrendered a first down.
43-yard punt, and had Isaiah had a teammate with him, they would have gotten the block. The misfortune there for the Falcons was he was the only one rushing the punter, and when the snap went awry, there was only so much he could do as the only man back there. 43-yard kick, first down 10 Columbus from its own 33-yard line. And the Falcons taking a little more time to get this one off. Letarius made sure everybody knows the play call. Back to throw. And it's over, everybody.
So some miscommunication there.
So he said he made sure everybody knew the play, but apparently someone didn't know the play.
Yeah, it's never a good sign when your intended wide receiver looks at you as the ball is flying past him and puts his hands in the air as if to say, what in the world did you just call?
Starkville leading Murrah tonight 42-0 at the half. No word if they had homecoming tonight or not.
Listen, man,
I really hope
it's homecoming every night at Murrah.
I hope they did not. Patrick Jackson gets the carry, picks up about 3 yards on that play, and that will bring up a 3rd down and long. We mentioned it, the SEC preview at the half. We'll also visit with Anthony Carlisle, the first-year Columbus boys basketball coach. Falcons are one of the favorites. They're on that short list of favorites for the 6A state championship this year. And we will see how the first couple of weeks of practice have gone. We had Purple Madness this past Monday on the campus. And we'll get a review of that and a preview of the season here at halftime, which is 4:30 and clock running away from us. And the Falcons will face now a 3rd down and 7 from the 36. Stowers rolls out. He's going to throw on the run, hits Javoris Vance, who takes it out of bounds at midfield. And Anthony, I'm really surprised at the mobility of Stowers tonight.
We've seen him look more comfortable tonight on rollouts than he has much of the season, which is surprising to me as well.
I just did not know his health. You never know the health of a young man, especially to begin with, 9th game of the season. But certainly Latarius has had the issues with the shoulder that he's had. But he has looked good tonight.
He has. That was a big 14-yard gain on 3rd and long.
So 1st down, ball at midfield, and Randall Montgomery is not in his happy place. There's a timeout called by the Falcons. There was some confusion there coming out of the huddle of what they were fixing to do. So there was a timeout for Columbus at midfield, 4:10 to go in the half, 7-0 Oxford. We'll take this timeout with them. This is Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSV.
The MSU Library will host workshops throughout the fall semester for students. Each class will go over a different topic that will be helpful in increasing students' understanding of the library, as well as giving out helpful hints on dissertations and grad student information. For the full list of workshops, visit library.msstate.edu/workshops.
4 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the first half of play. Oxford leading by a score of 7-0 in the ball game. Falcons will have the ball at midfield on a 1st down and 10 coming up. Anthony, it's going to be interesting. If it stays this way in the second half, I want to see if Oxford tries to run the ball more, because the Falcons have really made it a tough night on McClure.
They have. And going back to the first quarter, made it tough on the inside running plays with Wadlington. The only running plays that have worked were the Wildcat running plays. We haven't seen that since that second possession.
You'll eventually get to this point in this game if it stays at 7-0. 1st down handoff. Good hard running around the left side for about 3 yards by Derek Jordan. You'll eventually get to the point where you're trying to win the game 7-0, and it will be interesting to see what happens there, because the Falcons have gotten, with Josh Gray, Isaiah Carroll, Montrez Williams, they've gotten good heavy pressure on McClure throughout the ball game. I would think the defense will get another interception if they continue to apply this kind of pressure.
I've been surprised at how quickly Oxford in the first half abandoned the running game.
They have done that. They have predominantly gone through the air, and the Falcons have made them pay for it. This time the pass is to Vance, and it's completed. The 35 breaks a tackle to the 30 down to the 28-yard line. 1st down and 10 from the 28, a 19-yard pickup from Stowers to Vance. That was the combination that worked so well in the victory over DeSoto Central. They hooked up 3 times in that ball game.
And the last 3 Stowers completions have all gone to Vance for 10, 14, and 19 yards.
So 1st down and 10 now from the 28-yard line.
That's 5 first downs in the first half for the Falcons.
3:20 clock running. Tupelo leading DeSoto Central 33-0 tonight at the half. We are getting there ourselves. 3:10 clock running. Stowers pass complete to Kenneth Martin at the 20, all the way down to the 15-yard line. The Falcons are in the red zone after a 13-yard pickup.
And that's already 10 completions now in the first half for Stowers, and make it 6 first downs for the Falcon offense.
Yeah, it's been a good offensive. It's been good rhythm, good balance. Several receivers have been involved. It's been a combination of short passes and then some to Javoris over the middle. And the defense has certainly acquitted itself well tonight as well. First down and 10 now from the 16. And this time it's a handoff to Patrick Jackson, who can't get anything going, and he's going to be stopped at the 16. A lot of pushing and shoving after the whistle. Maybe we can sneak a personal foul in here in a minute. Let's just
we haven't had one of those yet.
No, we need one.
Scott, I'm surprised with the success that Columbus has had in this quarter through the air that we haven't seen Oxford's defense move some linebackers back into zone coverage. They still are bringing up everybody to stop the run, even when the Falcons try to keep the defense honest by calling a run play on 1st and 10. It's getting stuffed for no gain.
West Point leading Grenada 28-0 tonight at the half at Hamlin Stadium. Here is the pass. It's in the flats, intercepted at the 1-yard line by Oxford, and taken down at the 12, and that was just a bad read by Letarius. He did have an intended receiver open in the end zone and just underthrew the football, and it goes right to C.J. Terrell. And that's a difficult situation for the Falcons because you were in field goal range and you certainly wanted to at least get something out of that possession.
And you had a chance to, at the very least, even if you have no points, a chance to run the clock out. Instead, turnover, second interception tonight. So right after I said I'm surprised we haven't seen Oxford drop more guys back into coverage, they do so on that 2nd and 10 play and get the interception.
South Panola leading South Haven 21-7 early second quarter tonight. They've got about 9 minutes to go in the second quarter there. First down and 10, Oxford. McClure is back to throw. No pressure this time. The pass goes over the incomplete.
That was a nice effort on the diving attempt at the reception, but good coverage as well. McClure, nice ball, but a lot of things had to go right there on a very difficult pass attempt, and not enough went right, and it ends up being an incompletion.
Starl Academy leading Leake Academy 21-7 at the half.
2nd and 10.
Again, they're throwing the football with 2 minutes to go in the half. This is the South Haven. The South Haven playbook was dropped off in the field house.
It worked for South Haven.
It did.
McClure, those 7 straight incompletions.
2nd down and 10 from the 12. This time is an option pitch right up the round up being just a shuffle pass to Jeremiah Pegues. So it will go as a pass, but it'll be about a 3-yard pickup. Columbus only has now 1 timeout. They've had to call 2 to get things straight on offense throughout the half, so they only have 1 timeout left to work with. They will, of course, call it here if they get the stop on 3rd down. I would give it to Pegues more. He is a big boy.
What's interesting, as big as he has way more receptions on the year than he does rushing attempts.
Well, Columbus has called that timeout. I think there was some confusion on defense. And tis better, you would like more time, but tis better to have the right defensive alignment on the 3rd down play than to have that time. It's better. It's better to get this stop than to have that time. It's 7-0 Oxford, and Anthony, I would think this is, to be honest with you, Columbus has not been in some tight ball games the last couple of weeks. It's been some difficult games that have gotten away really in the second quarter. That's where the separation came with Tupelo, 3-0 ball game entering the second quarter.
Right.
Separation a week ago, 7-all entering the second quarter. And I really think if Randall Montgomery could navigate the final minute 15 and still be down 7-0, or perhaps even get a field goal, I think he would be very happy.
I agree. With young teams, the psyche is fragile, and we've seen, to your point, Scott, now throughout the season and in recent weeks, if a couple of bad things happen, this team gets down, as young players will do, and it gets away from them before it becomes a 3rd and 4th quarter game. I'm with you. Right now, Columbus is trying to ensure that this ball game is, worst case scenario, 1-score game heading into the halftime locker room.
3rd down and 7 coming up. Falcons are now out of timeouts. Oxford still has all 3 of theirs to work with. It is a pass play again from McClure. And he throws it over the middle. Intercepted and then dropped. And that was Isaiah Cahill, who is he's not in his happy place right now.
I mean, Isaiah drops back in zone coverage. Really good defensive play. Nice play design. McClure had nowhere to go with the football, and you're right, that ball was thrown to Isaiah as if he was the intended receiver, and he simply dropped it.
I would give anything to know, though, why you're passing there on that play.
Listen, the offensive game plan for Oxford tonight has confused me as well.
Here is the punt. Good pressure. Josh Gray almost got back there for the block. It is a short kick, and it will be down to the 42-yard line. If you pass the football there, run the football rather there, Columbus is getting the ball with about 15 seconds to go in the half.
I mean, Oxford's defense is playing very well. They've forced 2 turnovers. They have not surrendered any points. I'm with you. At what point in the game do you say, okay, it's not working right now on offense, let's simply run the ball, run the clock, and play field position? And Oxford has not done that, and the Falcon defense has so far taken full advantage of the situation.
So 1st down and 10 now from the 41-yard line. We have a stoppage of play. Penalty on Oxford. I'm a nice guy. I don't try to push the issue. I just don't understand that.
And you look at what Oxford has done most of the season.
Right.
It's been running the football. It's a head scratcher.
Okay, 1st down and 5 from the 36-yard line. Stowers is back to throw. This ball will go toward the end zone. Actually, it'll be a short pass because the Oxford lineman got to Stowers and actually partially hit his shoulder as the ball's been thrown. So it wound up being about a 15, 20-yard pass play, incomplete, and that will bring up a 2nd down and 10. 2nd down and 5, rather. If you're Columbus, though, you're looking, if you could pick up 1 first down here, you are getting a field goal try before ending the half.
Some points on the board here would be huge.
2nd down and 5, Stowers in the flats to Derek Jordan, who catches the football and is taken down at the 33, and they're going to rule him inbounds on that, and that's not good. Derek initially went for the out of bounds, which was the right thing, and then tried to keep it inside to get the 1st down yardage and fell about a 1 yard shy of it.
3rd and 1 for the Falcons.
28 seconds left in the half. 3rd and short for Columbus. The snap is to Stowers. Plenty of time. Throws over the flats. Javorius Vance right off his fingertips at the 18-yard line. And as well as Columbus has played this half and as good as the offensive play calling has been, this has not been a good stretch here.
No, that sequence there, on the previous play, Jordan was supposed to get out of bounds and did not have the right amount of awareness. The good thing is you got a 4th and short inside the Oxford 35, so a chance here to obviously go for it and try to get a 1st down.
Falcons not going 49-yard field goal route either. That's kind of Chris could hit this. But nonetheless, it is a 4th down, and it's going to go for 1st down yardage. Patrick Jackson, ball is loose, but they're going to rule him down at the 28-yard line. That was good individual effort by Patrick because he was stopped behind the line of scrimmage, and he broke 2 tackles.
Fantastic effort. Now you got to probably spike it.
Yes.
Or call a quick play. And now Oxford bails out Columbus. They call a timeout.
Of course they do.
We'll take it.
Make sure you stick around up first, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to recognize Columbus Middle School.
All righty, timeout on the field. 13 seconds to the half. 7-0 Oxford. Columbus Falcon football on 91-1 WMSV.
Your net password is the key to unlock online resources and services. Phishing email attempts to trick you into revealing your net password and other personal information. Guard your net password by never sharing it with anyone. Remember, ITS or MSU will never ask for your net password.
All righty, 13 seconds to go here in the first half of play. Oxford leading by a score of 7-0. And the Falcons have it first down and 10 from the 29-yard line. And we will see if they elect to go short pass here and try to make the field goal better, or if they throw toward the end zone. First down and 10. Stowers is back to throw. He throws it over the flats, and it is off the fingertips of Patrick Jackson. Good defensive pressure by Oxford. They had two guys in the area, and that will bring up a second down and 10. 8 seconds to go in the half. I would think field goal kick here, but they may try to run one more play. We'll have to see what happens here. Obviously, a sack or anything like that would end the half.
It's got to be a quick out route towards the sidelines.
You've got to have a lot of faith in your offense to attempt one more play here to end the half, but they're going to do that. With 8 seconds to go, second 10 from the 29-yard line. Back to pass is Stowers. Heavy pressure, throws to the end zone. We have a bump there around the 1-yard line, and the passes over the heads of both Palm and Kenneth Martin, the intended receiver.
The Oxford defense on this series has had their 2-minute defense out there, so a lot of zone coverage, lots of safety help, and some double coverages on the deep balls.
All righty, so third down and 10, but Columbus will now go ahead with 3 seconds to go in the half and attempt the field goal. The ball will be spotted at the 36, so this will be a 46-yard try. And before it happens, Oxford will call timeout. That's simply so they can get their tune-in app ready for Crowder.
That's right.
That's what that is.
They're making sure everyone's got their apps downloaded.
That's what
that they're tuning into our broadcast, and they got a chance to check out the SEC update.
That's what happened there. When we do get to the half, we will have our SEC preview. We will also talk to Anthony Carlisle, first-year boys basketball coach here at Columbus. And we spoke with Coach Hairston 2 weeks ago at the half, and we will get the boys basketball side of it here momentarily. They had Purple Madness this past Monday on campus, and the high school basketball season will open next Saturday statewide. It is inconceivable, but we are to that time of year, and we'll talk about the Falcons and what we expect on the court here momentarily during our halftime report. The 46-yard try from Chris Taylor will end the half, barring a penalty, of course.
No, there it is. There's the flag.
Well, there you go.
Boy, this is going to be huge if it's against Columbus. Nope, it's not.
No, it's an offsides defense.
And we'll take it. That'll make it a 5-yard shorter try for Chris.
Okay, so ball will now be at the 23 for a line of scrimmage, so this will be a 41-yard try going from right to left. And on his senior night, we'll see if Chris Taylor can put his team on the board. This time the kick is blocked. It looked like Oxford was offsides. I don't have any idea.
It was a high snap. It was Oxford may have been offsides, but a high snap, and by the time the holder got the hold put down, Oxford had really good penetration, got the block.
Yeah, Jaquanzi Johnson gets in and gets the block, but I honestly thought he was offsides on that. But anyway, the block nonetheless, and that is how we will go to the half. At halftime, Oxford leads Columbus by a score of 7-0. Oxford 7, Columbus nothing. Our halftime report after this timeout. Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSV.
Haven't chosen your MSU dining meal plan yet? You still have time. Meal plans are not one size fits all, which is why students can choose from 7 different meal plan options designed around your schedules and lifestyles. They offer 23 on-campus locations with hours ranging from 7 a.m. to midnight for maximum flexibility around your schedule. They also offer 2 faculty and staff meal plans that are payroll deductible and never expire. You can check out the dining options online at msstatedining.com.
3 years ago, my mom, my sweetheart, who had type 2 diabetes, died of heart disease. We didn't know that if you have diabetes, you are 2 to 4 times more likely to develop cardiovascular disease. Heart disease and diabetes are linked. If you have type 2 diabetes, know your risk of heart disease. Be good to yourself and those you love, because the sooner you know your risk, the more you and your doctor can do about it. Go to foryoursweetheart.com.
Anthony. Some of the the South's finest Cajun and Delta-inspired cuisine like barbecue shrimp, hand-cut blackened ribeyes, and gumbo. Plus, for live music fans, every Wednesday night, Mississippi. Reservations are recommended on weekends. 494-0316. Anthony's, now on Facebook and online. Anthony'sGoodFoodMarket.com.
Do you know your health status? Screening exams for breast, lung, and colorectal cancers can detect disease early when it is most treatable. Learn about the risk factors for cancer and other diseases and find out which screening option is best for you by visiting radiologyinfo.org. You'll find over 230 easy-to-understand descriptions of radiology procedures, exams, and treatments. Visit radiologyinfo.org today. Produced by the Radiological Society of North America and the American College of Radiology.
We're serving up the blues at the Juke every Sunday from 6 to midnight on WMSV.
Our world is changing. The way we work, the way we connect, the way we see things around us. At Mississippi State University, we're agents of change, creating our own bright futures, solving real problems, turning challenges into possibilities, and lighting the way to a whole new world of emerging markets. Through MSU's new state-of-the-art Center for Entrepreneurship and Outreach, we're collaborating across campus, sharing perspectives and resources of multiple disciplines to power dreams. But we're so much more than dreamers. We've launched hundreds of student-led businesses, earning millions in revenue, and impacting our state's economy in new and creative ways. We're the next generation of business leaders, and we're ready for a changing world. How do we know we're ready? Because we're the ones changing it.
Alrighty, we're back at halftime at Falcon Field. Oxford leading Columbus by a score of 7-0. Senior night, 14 senior football players playing the final game of their high school careers here at home. 2 more road games, and of course, hopefully it works out in a playoff berth. But for now, it is senior night here on the campus, and the Falcons are trailing Oxford by a score of 7-0 at the half. Senior night means one sport is ending and another one is beginning, and the basketball season is right around the corner. Anthony Carlisle, first-year Columbus boys basketball coach, welcome aboard. What have you seen so far? What do you think about your club as you get ready to get it going next week?
It's a work in progress. I'm trying to be patient. I definitely think that we have the talent to compete on the 6A level this year. The biggest thing is trying to get across to the guys is just having more energy and effort. I love kids that compete, every play and just play hard. If you play hard, sometimes you'll play teams that may have more talent, but if you outwork them, you can kind of win those nights. So that's one of the biggest areas that we have to improve on to be a good team.
How many years at Velma Jackson?
6.
6 years at Velma Jackson. Obviously, a lot of success there, state championships there. What brought you to Columbus? What kind of lure to this job? What struck out in your mind as this would be a good place for you to come?
I had been talking with him for about 2 years or so, and I interviewed for one other time, and I was one of the finalists, but I wasn't selected. I was called last year about the job, but it was kind of so late in the year, and this year they kind of reached out to me and see if I would be interested in it, and I kind of wanted to take a chance at 6A and bigger school, bigger competition, and see how they go.
It's kind of interesting. In football, Randall Montgomery did something similar, coming from Hazelhurst to here. Football is an obvious change. It's depth. You go from 30 to 40 players to 60 or 70 players. Basketball is not that way. You're still going to dress 12 to 15, and so it's kind of a different set of challenges when you move up into 6A.
Yeah, it is, but basketball is basketball. The fundamentals stay the same. Like I said, when I was at a 3A school, by number-wise, we was a 3A school, but as far as the talent and the kids that we had, they weren't what you would call maybe 3A players, and we competed and played against a lot of the 6A programs and across the state, and we had a lot of success. So with basketball, it's a little different. Football is more of a physical when you move up as far as classification, but basketball is more so around the skills. skill set.
Obviously, Robert Woodard starts the year as perhaps the best player in the state, certainly one of them. We know what he can do. Everyone here has watched him the last couple of years. I know you have from a distance. But now that you're around him on a day-to-day basis, what have you learned that you didn't know about him?
He's just such a great kid, and I think sometimes when you meet some of these athletes and, they highly recruited and they get a lot of attention, some of them are kind of, snobbish, or they just, not very personable. But, he's a great kid on and off the court. Academically, he's a great kid in the classroom, in the community. So just being a well-rounded person, I think that'll just take him farther in life than basketball will.
How about some other players? I know Denijay Harris had a great finish to the season a year ago. You've got some transfers in. Who are some of the other players that we'll see this year make an impact?
Casey Smith coming over from West Lounge definitely is going to help. R.J. Deloche came from Columbus Christian, and we had a kid to move from Texas named Aaron Johnson. And we have the talent. All those guys are talented in their own right, and they all bring something to the table. The thing that we have to do is putting it all together, everybody understanding their roles. And when you get 5 new guys, a new coach, you have to be patient and for them to be able to get to know one another, understand their role. So it's going to be a work in progress. I understand it. I don't know how much the fans will be patient, but I understand the process that's to it and what we have to do to be a great team come February and March. So that's what I always tell my team. Championships not won in November, they won in March. So that's what we're striving for, to just try to make sure that we get better and we performing at a high level when it comes to that time.
And what we've learned talking to these coaches every year in this same position, the basketball in this area, and I think you probably know it, but you'll really know it here shortly. The basketball in this area is really good between Starkville and New Hope has traditionally won 20 games. West Lowndes has always been in Jackson in 1A. So night in, night out, as you get ready for region, these midweek games in November and December, there are a lot of challenges that will help you get ready for that moment, because there's a lot of good teams in this area.
It is, and I think just with our schedule, this is probably the toughest schedule that I've probably been able to kind of put together during my coaching career, which is it's kind of tough because you got a brand new team, so everybody is trying to learn me, I'm trying to learn the kids, everything is brand new. So from that standpoint, and I just think, we open up with Itawamba, and then we play Starkville, who's probably the best 6A team I saw this summer. And then I think we go to Memphis and play Penny Hardaway team, Memphis East. That's a top 5 team in the country every year. And then we play a team out of Alabama and Louisiana in a classic. So what I've been trying to stress to the kids is, we don't have a lot of time. We don't have any games that we don't perform well, where you can play a game or two and try to win and feel good about yourself, get your self-esteem back up. We have tough opponents night in and night out, so we got a lot of work to do in a short period of time.
Open up next Saturday at New Hope, right?
Yes.
In the Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will be off and running. And again, Columbus basketball play a lot of road games and playing a lot of tournaments, so to speak. So we encourage the fans listening, when they are at home, come on out, support. The girls will be really good this year as well.
Yeah.
And so come on out. Varsity doubleheaders start at 6 o'clock, and we need you in the Falcon Lair as many times as possible. Anthony Carlisle, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you in a week when we get going for good.
I know that's right.
All righty, the SEC preview now with Jason Crowder here at halftime. Oxford leading 7-0. And now here's Jason.
This is an SEC update. Inside look at Southeastern Conference football. Well, everybody, God bless you, and thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Crowder, your host. Last week in SEC play, it was Sonny Michel that ran for 2 touchdowns as number 4 Georgia found its running game after a slow start and took control with 26 unanswered points to beat Missouri 53-28 Saturday evening in Athens.
From in the shotgun, Michel's in. Sony handoff, right tackle, 10, 5, 3, 1.
Touchdown, Sony Michel! The voice of the dog, Scott Howard, with the call from IMG. Georgia now 7-0 overall, 4-0 in the SEC. Recovered from an early scare by gaining 696 total yards, the second most in school history. The total included 370 on the ground. Georgia head coach Kirby Smart spoke with television following the game about how his offense had such a good night.
Well, a lot of hard work, a lot of toughness, some good backs, a young quarterback, and a very, very gritty offensive line. Some wide receivers that made plays. I thought Coach Shane did a great job tonight. Offense is going up. We got to get some answers on defense.
In Tuscaloosa, Damian Harris opened with a 75-yard touchdown run, and number 1 Alabama rode a fast start to a 41-9 victory over Arkansas inside Bryant-Denny Stadium.
First and 10, Bama from their own 25. Wideouts either way. Handoff Damian Harris up the middle. He breaks left side. Could it be a replay of Texas A&M? First play from scrimmage. Left sideline 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. 75 yards. Alabama one more time. Show your appreciation for these seniors. And the Crimson Tide score.
Thank you for all your hard work.
My goodness, as Yogi Berra would say, deja vu all over again.
The voice of the Crimson Tide, Eli Gold, with a call from Learfield. Alabama, like Georgia, is now 7-0, 4-0 in the SEC. They raced out to a 17-0 start by midway through the first quarter before the Razorbacks managed to slow down the onslaught for a while. Head coach Nick Saban was pleased with his team's performance.
I was happy with the way we played today. We had a few rough spots, but hit a few bumps, but I like the way the players persevered, played 60 minutes in the game, and did a nice job in the second half of finishing the game.
In Gainesville, Florida, Kellen Mond made several huge plays. Daniel LaCamera kicked 4 field goals, and Texas A&M handed Florida a second home loss in as many weeks, 19-17 on Saturday night. LaCamera's 32-yard field goal with 58 seconds remaining proved to be the difference, but Mond made everything happen for the Aggies. The freshman completed 8 passes for 180 yards and added 52 yards and a touchdown on the ground.
Mond has Ford to his left. 3 wides, way out into the right side. That's the open side. Mond, time, running, headed for the end zone, and he will get in. Touchdown from 9 out.
The voice of the Aggies, Dave South, with a call from Learfield. Mond had completions of 40 and 42 yards to set up fourth quarter field goals, and Christian Kirk returned a punt 43 yards to set up the game winner. He spoke with TV following the game.
It feels great just to see the grit of our team. We knew we were a second half team. We were down at halftime, and we went in there with all the confidence in the world, made some adjustments, came out here and just made plays. I love this team. We know how to fight to the end.
In Oxford, Shea Patterson threw for 351 yards and 4 touchdowns. Jordan Wilkins ran for 113 yards, and Ole Miss dominated Vanderbilt in a 57-35 victory on Saturday inside Vaught-Hemingway Stadium at Hollingsworth Field.
Fake. Shea's going to keep it, run left, lowers his head, stretches, dives in the end zone. Touchdown, Shea Patterson, and the Rebels regain the lead.
The voice of the Rebels, David Kellum, with the call from IMG. Shea Patterson also spoke with TV following the game about his and his team's performance.
We knew as a team, as a program, this was a must-win for us. And the defense played phenomenal. Offense, O-line and receivers played awesome tonight, so it really helped us.
Down in Baton Rouge, DJ Chark returned a punt 75 yards for a touchdown. Connor Culp kicked clutch field goals of 42 and 36 yards inside the final 3 minutes. And LSU rallied from a 20-point deficit to beat number 10 Auburn 27-23 down at Tiger Stadium on Saturday.
Here's the snap, placement and down. The kick is up. It has the leg, and the kick is good!
The voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair, with a call from the LSU radio network. LSU's defense improved dramatically in the second half, not allowing a point. That enabled LSU to win with special teams play. The Tigers found themselves down 20-0 before coming back to win the game. In Starkville, it was Nick Fitzgerald who had a hand in 4 touchdowns to lead Mississippi State to a 35-10 victory over BYU on Saturday at Davis Wade Stadium at Scott Field.
Williams beside Fitzgerald, shotgun backfield. Nick looking to run, finds a seam inside the 10, 5, drags defenders into the end zone. Touchdown, Mississippi State. Nick Fitzgerald runs it in from 16 away.
The voice of the Bulldogs, Neil Price, with the call from Learfield. Mississippi State returned to form offensively after a bye week and 2 straight blowout losses on the road to ranked opponents. Executing Coach Dan Mullen's balanced plan of attack, the Bulldogs had 306 rushing yards, and Fitzgerald threw for 241 to cross the 500-yard mark in total offense for the third time this season. Fitzgerald spoke with television following the game about the win.
As a whole offense, we really did our job. Everyone kind of went out there with the attitude, I'm going to do my 111. We don't do anything spectacular. Everyone just do their job. Great block on the front. Great block by the line. Awesome block on the perimeter. Catching bubbles, catching passes. Running backs running hard. So, it was a whole offensive day, and I'm really proud of them. Really excited.
And finally, in Knoxville, Tennessee, Parker White made all 3 of his field goal attempts, including a tie-breaking 21-yarder with 5:17 remaining. And South Carolina produced a goal line stand Saturday in the closing seconds of a 15-9 victory over Tennessee.
Guaranteed to roll right. Flat, it's deflected and broken up. The Gamecocks win it. The Gamecocks win it in Knoxville, 15-9 on a defensive.
An in-state rivalry or a border war rivalry. You've got that with Alabama and Tennessee and LSU and Ole Miss. But there's something special, though, about this third Saturday in October rivalry with Tennessee and Alabama. So we'll start with them first. This is a rivalry game that's not been a rivalry game as of late. It's been dominated by Alabama. Now, there was a stretch when Philip Fulmer was coaching the Tennessee Volunteers where Tennessee was dominating this series. Tennessee's 3-3, 0-3 in the conference, and they've been reeling. There's all the talk of Butch Jones, how he needs to be fired, not going to be there at the end of the season, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Nick Saban, though, on the other hand, warns, even though his team's number 1 in the country unanimously, he says you could throw out the records when 2 rivalries get together. Nick Saban says that Tennessee can make this a game. They have the players to do so. He comments on the Tennessee-Alabama matchup.
I watch their team play. They compete hard. They play hard in games. They put themselves in position to win every game that they played this year except for one. So we have a tremendous amount of respect for the games that we've had in the past, what we've had to defend, how they play, the toughness they play with, what it's going to mean to them in this game. Because they're in the situation that they're in, you could make a case that they'll come in here and play great. Play, really, really well, try to prove something.
It's interesting that Nick Saban says you could throw out the records, but you know what? The stats really don't lie. Tennessee near the bottom in a lot of offensive categories. Rushing offense, 135 yards a game. That's 96th nationally. Passing offense, they rank 98th nationally, 185 yards a game. Total offense, 320. That ranks 116th. And oh, by the way, the Volunteers will have to face one of the nation's best defenses on the road as the Crimson Tide ranks 2nd in the nation in scoring defense, just 10.1 points a game. Tennessee scoring nearly 22 points a game on offense. We'll see how things shake out in Tuscaloosa this Saturday. Alabama 7-0, 4-0 in the SEC. Kick time 2:30 p.m. on CBS from Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. It seems like no matter what the records, this game's always on CBS. LSU Ole Miss. This was a rivalry that was really big in the 50s and 60s. These two teams still don't like each other. And then you've got Ed Orgeron to kind of put a little fuel on the fire, so to speak. He's the head coach of LSU and used to coach the Ole Miss Rebels. Matt Luke is the interim head coach for Ole Miss, 3-3. They've got a little momentum coming into this game, 1-2 in the SEC. They are hosting at home. Oxford, Mississippi, Vaught Hemingway Stadium, 6:15 is the kickoff on ESPN. Coach Luke talks about Ed Orgeron and the respect he has for him and LSU, especially this LSU defense and the way they've been playing as of late.
A lot of respect for Coach Orgeron. Worked for him for a year. I was his recruiting coordinator. Obviously, very, very energetic guy. Learned a lot from him. Been very impressed how he's rallied his team. Very impressive. Their last 2 wins on third down. Auburn was 3 of 14, and Florida was 2 of 9. So they've done a good job getting off the field defensively.
LSU 5-2, 2-1 in the SEC, and My good friend Ross Dellinger, who writes for the Baton Rouge Advocate, he is the beat writer for that newspaper for the LSU Tigers, asked the question this past week to Ed Orgeron. You'll hear the question about, does he keep in contact with anybody from Oxford and Ole Miss still? And this is what Ed had to say.
I know it's been 10 years. Is there anybody there that you still talk to that's in the administration or just at the school at all? Is there any connection?
You know, I used to stop at the Exxon and get a chicken on a stick, and it was fantastic. And I hope that cook is still there, and I can stop and say hello to her. That's about all I remember.
This is in Oxford? Or,
yeah.
X1?
Chicken on a stick.
How
it was phenomenal.
It's good chicken on a stick.
The best I ever had. Not better than Razor Case.
Moving on to the Auburn Tigers and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Auburn coming into this game reeling a little bit, licking their wounds after that tough loss on the road to LSU last week. They're 5-2 overall, 3-1 in the SEC. They travel to Arkansas, a team that's been reeling for a couple of Saturdays now. Arkansas 2-4 overall, 0-3 in the league. 6:30 p.m. is the kickoff on the SEC Network from Fayetteville, Arkansas. And Mississippi State will get back into conference play. The Bulldogs will be back at home again after a non-conference win over BYU last Saturday. They're hosting the Kentucky Wildcats, who are a play away, you could say, on defense and offense from being 6-0. They're 5-1 overall, 2-1 in the SEC. Mark Stoops' offense with Steven Johnson will have to take on Mississippi State's Todd Grantham and his defense, giving up nearly 20 points a game. They've been tougher than that in a lot of contests. That's just how things average out, especially after those two blowout losses Mississippi State had on the road to Auburn and Georgia. Bulldogs are 4-2 overall, 1-2 in the Southeastern Conference, and Mark Stoops now talks about facing this Mississippi State defense.
They're disruptive. Todd does a great job. You know, they're multiple. They've always been athletic, just big and long, and got good-looking players, and they're very disruptive. And again, I think Todd Grantham does a very good job with them of keeping you off balance.
3 p.m. is the kickoff on the SEC Network from Starkville's Davis Wade Stadium at Scott Field. And last but not least, the Missouri Tigers will be hosting Idaho. It'll kick off the Southeastern Conference Parade at 11 a.m. from Columbia, Missouri's Memorial Stadium, Fairfield Field. Missouri 1-5 overall, 0-4 in the SEC, taking on a sub-500 Idaho team. They're 2-4 overall. Open this week, the Florida Gators, Georgia Bulldogs, South Carolina Gamecocks, Texas A&M Aggies, and Vanderbilt Commodores. That's going to do it for SEC Update. I'm Jason Crowder reporting.
All righty, we're back at halftime here at Falcon Field, and to correct something Jason Crowder just said, during that last game, he said last but not least, and if it's Missouri versus Idaho, it is last and least. I'm sorry.
It most definitely is.
That's just the situation there. We're about to go here in the second half, and the Oxford Chargers lead this football game by a score of 7-0. And Anthony, first half where Columbus has made a lot of strides offensively, but got to find a way to get into the end zone.
Exactly. I mean, look at the offensive numbers. Stowers over 100 yards passing in the first half, Scott, completing half his passes, but 2 costly interceptions in the red zone. The Falcons, though, unable to run the ball. Between Jordan, Jackson, and Stowers, the 3 ball carriers so far tonight for the Falcons, a grand total of 12 rushing yards. So the passing game is working. The offense needs to come along with the running game, though, to create that balanced attack. The good news is the defense has performed very well, limiting Oxford's offense in the first half to only 1 touchdown and just 108 total yards. They have harassed Oxford's quarterback McClure. He only is 5 for 16 tonight, no TDs, 1 interception, only 38 yards through the air for McClure and the Oxford offense in that first half. Both defenses have come to play. You look at the Oxford run defense, the Columbus pass defense, which defense makes the most plays and which offense can create some kind of balanced effort in the third and fourth quarters. That might be our deciding factor tonight.
Columbus will receive the ball to start the second half. And the Falcons will go from right to left here in the second half. Jordan, Randall, Kenneth Martin are the kick return men. They're standing both along the 10-yard line. Here is the kick. Randall will take it at the 10. to the 15, and is going to be taken off of his feet there around the 17-yard line. Unable to get a block there, and Columbus will go first down and 10 from its own 17 here to start the third quarter of play. Oxford scored midway through the first quarter on a 20-yard run by Jeremiah Pegues out of the Wildcat formation, and that is the only score in the ball game. Oxford leading by a score of 7-0. The Falcons, the first two games in the three-game losing streak, no offensive touchdowns, but last week were able to get Kenneth Martin open twice, and Craddock and Stowers both hit him for a touchdown apiece. And we'll see if Columbus can find the end zone here in the third quarter and even the ball game. Laterius Stowers gone all the way tonight at quarterback, and he is there as well on first down. And the pass is over the middle to Vance, and he's taken off of his feet around the 33-yard line. The handoff fake went to Patrick Jackson, and then they were able to get Vance open for a 16-yard pickup, first down and 10 from the 33.
And that play worked really well in the first half, so why not go back to it? First play of half number 2.
First down and 10 from the 33. Stowers gives to Derek Jordan, and he's going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. The Oxford players are signaling that they have the ball, but have been overruled. Yeah, you would think at halftime Randall Montgomery has seen 4 or 5 plays that he has liked here in the first half, and that most likely at the half they have talked with emphasis about doing those kind of things that you saw there on first down. So second down and 11. They'll officially spot Derek for a 1-yard loss on the running play.
Second and 11.
I'm sorry.
No, I say it's been hard sledding for Derek tonight.
It has.
Running game.
It has been. Second down and 11 from the 31-yard line. Stowers back to pass. It was an empty backfield this time, and the ball's off the fingertips of Derek Jordan, who had some running room and is unable to make the catch.
That play's been open and available almost all night long, and that time Jordan, I'm sure, would want that play back. He was open, and it wasn't the greatest throw, but certainly a catchable ball from Stowers, and Jordan simply could not get his fingertips on it.
Nanawaya has held off Ethel 63-0 tonight. So, fun time had by all there by Bart Gregory's alma mater. Third down and long, Stowers will keep, and it's not going to be nearly enough for the first down. He's staying down off his feet at the 37-yard line after about a 4-yard pickup. And the Falcons will have to punt the football here on their first possession of the second half. Hattiesburg leading Picayune tonight 28-24. That's a big ball game for first place in that region. And certainly trying to find the sacrificial lamb for West Point in the 5A state championship. That's what we're in the running for there.
That's right. Who from South State 5A will get the runners-up trophy?
They should do it like Dizzy Dean and let anyone that wants to come and get their shot at it.
And just try it out.
The penalty on that play was against Columbus, and so they're going to spot it back to the 21-yard line.
Not the way you wanted to open up the second half offensively. Just a series that could never quite get off and running. So far, the running game just, the Falcons unable to do anything.
It was a dead ball penalty, so Falcons will still punt. It was a personal foul after the penalty, after the play. So the punt by Chris Taylor is fielded at the 42, and out of bounds with it at the 47-yard line is the Oxford up back, and that's going to go as a 37-yard kick. And Oxford will take over with a good field position, something they did not have a lot of in the first half. They will go first down and 10, and they'll spot the ball on the Oxford 49-yard line, I believe, is where they're going to put it.
Well, Scott, we knew coming in the Oxford defense had been impressive, and they have lived up to the billing so far tonight. The Falcon defense also has rivaled them and has answered the bell almost every single time. And here we go. First play, second half for Oxford. They're going to be in the Wildcat with Pegues.
First and 10 from the 49. It is a handoff to Pegues, and he just he just runs over 3 people and takes it all the way down to the 42-yard line. So about a 9-yard pickup.
3 carries for Pegues and 45 yards.
they snapped that ball on the right hash, but Brock Turnipseed said I should never say right hash or left hash. I don't. Other broadcasters do. But he said,
is that a pet peeve?
He said, radio guy, he doesn't understand. If you're listening at home, you don't really care which hash the ball is on. So,
2nd and 2.
Well, Brock doesn't care.
So we'll hash that out later. But nonetheless, something I don't already do in my arsenal, so I had not added it. Any thought of adding it was nixed.
So not even near side or far side. I mean, is that what he would prefer?
I would think so.
I mean, I want to tailor our broadcast to meet Brock's needs. That's my main goal here tonight.
Pegues is stopped for about half a yard there on 2nd down. So 3rd and 1, they'll give it to him again.
Around the right side.
And he'll go down to the 37-yard line for a 1st down, about a 5-yard pickup.
Well, now we're seeing what we thought we might see more of in the first half from Oxford. That's this power running game with Pegues lining up essentially as a running back in the shotgun. It's the quarterback position. It's not even a wildcat really. It's just a straight, like an old wing T offense almost.
Pegues again, and he'll stop this time for about a 3-yard pickup, but pushes the power forward. When he leans, if he leans forward, it's an extra 2 yards. When he falls, it's going to be an extra 2 yards based on which direction he leans in.
The Falcon defense has adjusted, but you're right. It's taking 3 and 4 guys to bring him down.
So 2nd down and 5 coming up. 2nd down and 4, more like it, from around the 30-yard line.
2nd and 4.
And this time the handoff goes up the middle, and that time it's the actual quarterback giving to Wadlington, who carries it down to the 18-yard line. So a big pickup there on the 2nd down play.
That's the first time we've seen them run Pegues left side tonight. They're going to try it again right here. This time the Falcon defense meets him and drops him at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
Loss on the tackle, number 6. Great.
So now we're being told that by Brock that we were correct at the first time.
Okay.
Right or left is good. Don't say near side or far side.
Okay.
2nd and 10.
That's because Brock's anti-David Kellum. That's what it is.
Oh, that's whatever it takes to get us. Whatever we're like Coach Carlisle here. We're trying to get to that level.
That's right.
We're not winning games now. We're trying to win games in March when it matters.
We do appreciate Brock tuning in tonight and trying to help out the broadcast.
There is a timeout called. It is by Columbus. The Falcons will try to regroup on defense. A big 2nd down coming up, and I am very disappointed that Oxford is doing what we suggested.
Listen, yeah, it's a shame they got smart, isn't it? At halftime.
We were going to bring it to their attention after the game, not in the 3rd quarter. And but certainly Pegues is a talented young man. He's got good feet for a man for a bigger back like that. They list him at 245 on the roster, and he's quick with his initial move, and that's the big thing. Once he gets that head of steam up, he is difficult to bring down.
He came into tonight with only 21 carries, and he has got 8 carries in the ball game tonight. 21 in the first 8 or 9 games that Oxford's played, and now almost 10 carries already tonight. So he is doubling up, or is on pace to double up his entire season number of carries tonight in one ball game. I mentioned in the pregame or early on in the first quarter where Pegues has really earned his meal ticket this year has been as a receiver. 25 catches, almost 400 receiving yards coming into the ball game tonight.
Again, it is a gift to Pegues. He goes around the left side. Devin King brings him down, but not until after he picks up about 6 yards. And that's a perfect example there. If you have video, that's a perfect example there of what the Pegues does, because Devin grabbed him 1 yard past the line of scrimmage, and he carried Devin a good 4 or 5 yards. So 3rd down and 4, short yardage situation. The give this time is to Pegues again, and he's brought down this time right at the line of scrimmage. Columbus Matthew Leach in on the tackle.
And now Oxford you would think will bring on the kicking team a chance to make it a 2-score ball game. And with the way their defense is played, this is a huge field goal coming up right here for the Chargers.
Yeah, Devin weighs 165. It's about an 80-pound difference between the two, and he simply carried Devin a good 5 yards there after the initial attempt at a tackle. Now, Devin did get him.
He did.
But after about a 4 or 5 yard pickup. Snap is high on the field goal, the kick is up, and it is good. I don't know how it got in there. Boy, it looked like it was curling off to the left, but the field goal try is good from 29 yards out. So 7:13 to go in the third quarter, and Oxford has the first score of the second half. They lead Columbus now by a score of 10-0. Timeout on the field. This is Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSV.
The programming heard on WMSV 91.1 FM is brought to you in part through support from the Columbus Municipal School District. For information on the Columbus schools or for events happening at the schools, visit columbuscityschools.org. One team, one Columbus.
All righty, Oxford now leading by a score of 10-0 in the ball game, with 7:13 to go in the third quarter of play.
Thank you for your support.
And certainly a situation now where Columbus needs to make a move offensively in attempt to stay in the ball game. The Columbus defense has played quite well tonight, and the offense, for the most part, has had some drives. They've had their moments, but unable to cash that in as for points.
Yeah, that's been the frustrating part of the game tonight is the Falcons offensively more total yards than Oxford before that last Oxford drive, more first downs than the Chargers, but Oxford has had a couple of drives start inside the Falcon 50 in Falcon territory, and they have cashed in on both of those drives to make it 10-0 now, 7:13 to go third quarter.
Tupelo leading DeSoto 48-0 tonight at the end of 3. West Point leading Grenada 41-0 at the end of 3.
Wow. That's impressive on both counts.
It is. Here is the kick. It's a short kick. It's taken at the 25 up to the 35-yard line and taken off of his feet there at the 37 is Patrick Jackson. And that's where Columbus will start. First down and 10 from its own 37. We'll be on the air next Friday night from Batesville. South Panola is the opponent. 6:30 airtime, 7 o'clock kickoff. And then 2 weeks from tonight, the regular season finale. It will be at Hernando. Hopefully the Hernando Tiger will be with us. He was excellent.
One of our favorites.
Excellent 2 years ago up there. So hopefully the Tiger will be there, and hopefully it will not be 60-47 this year.
I missed that game.
Yes,
you and Jackson had all that fun.
That was outstanding. The first down play, it's Stowers on a rollout, and the pass is over the middle and dropped.
2nd and 10.
The intended receiver on that play was A.J. Johnson. He had an opening, had a running lane there around the Oxford 45-yard line, and simply unable to make the catch.
Perhaps guilty of thinking about his turn and run up the field before securing the football. The good news is here, the passing lanes are open. I would imagine you're about to see Columbus go 90% pass the rest of this quarter and see what happens. See if they can get back to a one-score ball game.
2nd down and 10 now for Columbus. Stowers, Derek Jordan to the 50-yard line to the 47 with one of the 10% running plays.
That's right.
Is able to pick up 14 yards.
And there's a reason why I'm in the booth calling the game and not in a coach's booth calling plays. That was an excellent drive or excellent play call to hand it off to Jordan, easily the best running play tonight for the Falcons.
First down and 10 now in Oxford territory from the 47-yard line of the Chargers. Stowers has the snap, rolls around to the right, throws in the flats, pass is complete, and taken off of his feet after gaining the first down is Jared Bush. And the Falcons will move it down to the 35-yard line.
And Scott, we've seen Columbus do this now several times tonight. Question is, once they get it into Oxford territory, if they get it into the red zone, can they actually secure the football, get points? We've seen a couple of interceptions and a blocked field goal the 3 previous times the Falcons got down here.
First and 10 for the Falcons.
The first down play, Stowers back to throw. And this time it's off the fingertips of the defensive back for Oxford, and that came eerily close to an interception. Bush was the intended receiver again, or actually that's, no, it was Bush. Wasn't sure if it was A.J. Johnson or Bush, but it was Bush was the intended receiver. And that ball was slightly underthrown, but at least the Falcons lived to play another down after that.
Yeah, that could have been scary. You're right. That could have ended in disaster.
So 2nd down and 10 now coming up from the 36-yard line in Oxford territory. 6:17 to go, so still plenty of time here in the third quarter of play. Oxford has stretched a 7-0 halftime lead. They lead 10-0 at the moment. Stowers this time pass is complete.
Yeah, got it down to right at the 30-yard line, it appears.
That is Fred Harris on the pass reception. Be about a 5-yard pickup.
Haven't called Harris's name at all tonight.
And the Falcons, of course, now to end the first half had a 41-yard field goal blocked. So Falcons may be a little more gun-shy here to try the field goal after the protection broke down on the last try, but we'll see. Hopefully it can continue to be a forward march toward the end zone here on 3rd down and 5.
Might be 2-down territory.
Bad snap. This time Stowers is able to pick it up, and it will simply fall down on it after about a 2-yard loss, so that will bring up a 4th down and 7.
Well, it certainly was going to be 2-down territory. Now 4th and 7. It still might be 2-down territory, but that's certainly a shot in the foot right there.
And certainly the bad snaps have been a problem throughout the season, but have not been a problem tonight. For the most part, snaps have been clean, and Stowers has been able to run the offense. You could just tell Coach Montgomery put his hands over his head on that one. Just the worst time possible for that type of misfortune to happen. So 4th down and 7 now for the Falcons. Stowers will roll out and throw, and the pass will be incomplete, shy of the first down either way. The intended receiver was Jared Bush, and the ball will go over on downs. It was going to be about 1.5 yards shy of the first down if it had gone for a completion. And with 4:46 to go in the third quarter of play, Oxford will take over, and they will run it 1st down and 10 from their own 33-yard line.
And that time, Oxford was ready defensively for the quarterback rollout to the far side of the field.
So we'll see what the Chargers elect to do here. We'll see if they continue to give the ball to Pegues and let him pound the football, or if they get Waddlington more involved, or if they take a dare and go back to the air.
33-yard line.
1st down and 10 from the 33-yard line.
Well, they got McClure back at quarterback, but also Pegues in a 2-man backfield.
It is a handoff to Waddlington. He goes around the left side, got a very good block, and goes all the way up to the 41-yard line before being taken out of bounds.
And now what they're doing, what Oxford is doing, they're going to use Pegues and Waddlington in the backfield simultaneously. So the defense isn't quite sure which one's going to get the handoff. And on that play, Pegues essentially was a fullback and was the lead blocker as that ball went off left side to Waddlington.
They're going to spot that a 1st down. So 1st down and 10 from the 43. Again, the give to Waddlington behind the line of scrimmage, shook a tackle, and a good hard running all the way up to midfield. Falcons are getting a little winded, tired of chasing Pegues around, and now Waddlington has come in with some fresh legs and able to, on back-to-back plays, get good runs.
And when both Waddlington and Pegues are in the backfield, you can't sell out to stop one guy. And it's a nice move by the Oxford coaches. This is something that Randall Montgomery talked about pregame with us, Scott. They throw so many different looks and formations at you. You got to be ready on defense for about anything.
2nd down and 4 coming up. This time it's Waddlington again, and he's going to be stopped shy of the 1st down. And
that's a nice pursuit that time.
Yes, Matthew Leach made the tackle for the Falcons. He's actually been in on the last 2 stops. Chris Craddock is also going to be given credit for part of the stop there, so that will bring up a 3rd down and 1.
And a big 3rd down right here for both teams.
3rd down and 1, ball just inside Columbus territory. It's on the 48-yard line. And we're going to have whistles and a stoppage of play. And we'll see if there was an infraction or a timeout.
I think we had too many men in motion on Oxford.
Yeah, false start is the signal against Oxford, so that will bring up a 3rd down and 6.
And that might change things. We'll see. First time we've seen Oxford in a 3rd and long in this half. We'll see if they still want to run the football here on 3rd and 6, this time from their own side of the 50.
It's been a quickly moving 3rd quarter. French Camp has beaten Hamilton 42-0 tonight.
Those are finals?
Yes. So party at Jason Crowder's.
That's right.
3rd down and 6. McClure's back to throw. Heavy pressure, and this time the ball is caught. Excellent catch. Very nice catch by Jeremiah Pegues, who lost his helmet as he went to the ground.
Impressive play call right there. There actually were 2 guys open. There was one Columbus defender trying to defend 2 Oxford wide receivers. Clearly, Oxford showing run on 3rd and 6. The defense bit on the run, and McClure throws it over the top. Not a great throw, but a nice jumping grab by the other Pegues on the field for the Chargers.
25-yard pass play, and that snaps a long streak of incompletions by McClure. That's his first completion of the 3rd quarter. Here is the snap handoff around the right side.
It's a fantastic stop.
Samuel Bianco, the wide receiver, took the end around play, and that just did not work. The Falcons have run a similar play this year with Jordan Randall some with good success, but that particular play was a no-go for the Chargers, so that will bring up a 2nd down and 15. Clock moving inside 3 minutes to go 3rd quarter. Falcons obviously needing the defensive stop here to keep this at worst a 2-score ball game. Oxford leading 10-0. It was 7-0 at the half, and the Chargers have stretched that with a field goal this half. McClure back to throw. He's got an intended receiver, and Devin King with the pass breakup. There is a flag around the 1-yard line. I was wondering if they were going to flag him on that.
Well, it was not the referee closest to the action that threw the flag, but the official from the other side of the field who threw the flag.
Yeah, that's if it's pass interference, it is a legitimate call, but I don't understand why the man 2 feet from the play did not call it. The officials will confer. 2:33 clock stopped here to go in the 3rd quarter of play. This is a critical decision coming from the officiating crew in what is a 10-0 ball game. Oxford has obviously let it throughout. The Falcons, again, unable to find the end zone tonight, something that has plagued them in region play so far. Latarius Stowers, though, in his return to the lineup, has looked good tonight, good mobility, and has moved the chains, but Columbus has had nothing to show for it. It is a pass interference call against the Falcons. The crowd not happy. Randall Montgomery not happy. He's out on the 15-yard line, out on the field trying to get a clarification. And again, I don't know. I would assume that the question is not necessarily did Devin interfere as much as why did the guy right in front of it not call it, if that is what happened.
And it was one of those plays where it was bang, bang, ball got tipped. So you also have, if you're Columbus, a justified argument that maybe the contact that the far side official saw actually came after the ball had been tipped. Either way, tough call, and it goes against the Falcons. And right now, Oxford is pushing all the right buttons on offense.
1st down and 10 now from the Columbus 15-yard line. It's a give to Wadlington, who breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage and runs all the way down to the 3-yard line before being taken down by Josh Gray. And Oxford now will have a 1st down and goal coming up.
1st and goal.
Oxford trying to take control here, nearing the end of the 3rd quarter. If they're able to go up by 3 scores here, the Falcons would be in trouble. That was a nice individual effort on that last running play by Wadlington, because the Falcons had it stopped initially, and he cut it back towards the middle, broke a tackle, and picked up a nice gain.
They'll spot the ball officially at the 4-yard line. 1st down and goal from the 4. Here is Pegues, and he is going to take it right into the end zone. Broke one tackle at the line of scrimmage and was able to carry it in from there. And the Chargers have gotten a critical score in the ball game to make this a 3-score game. on the 4-yard touchdown run by Pegues.
And when Oxford lines up in that formation, they essentially are putting more blockers in front of the ball carrier than the defense has defenders.
So it is a 7-play, 67-yard drive, and Oxford's able to cash it in with the touchdown. 2-minute, 48-second drive, and we'll have the extra point here shortly.
The most impressive drive for either offense tonight, and it could result in Oxford taking control of the game. Big PAT coming right here. The PAT right here is the difference between a 2-score game and a 3-score game. We did have a flag thrown, Scott, at the end of that play. It's a personal foul, dead ball against Columbus. That'll be assessed after the PAT.
So the extra point attempt is up, and it is good. So timeout on the field, 1:58 to go, third quarter. Oxford leading now by a score of 17-0. And we'll have timeout now. Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSV.
Are you looking to discover a new career? The answer might be water. Hi, I'm Amy McLeod with the Alabama-Mississippi section of the American Waterworks Association. Many of the current professionals at water and wastewater utilities are getting ready to retire. This means we will soon need new certified operators right here in Mississippi and across the country. These jobs offer competitive salaries and benefits, so go get certified. Contact Jim Miller at millerwatermark@gmail.com for more information.
Personal foul penalty after the TD was scored by Oxford against Columbus. That means a 15-yard mark-off on the kickoff, so Oxford will tee it up from the Columbus 45-yard line.
So the Chargers can do all kind of things here. They could kick it deep into the end zone, or they could try a short kick, sky kick, and see if they could steal a possession here. Oxford has scored twice now here in the second half. They've had 2 possessions and gotten points on both, and it is an onside kick attempt, and the Falcons get it.
Nicely done.
The 34-yard line, falling on the football for Columbus is Demario Martin on the hands team, and he's able to get possession for Columbus. So they'll start 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line.
Columbus ready for the onside attempt and covered it up nicely. Played that about as well as you can for the hands team.
Ball on the 34-yard line for the Falcons.
Well, Scott, it's pretty simple. The Falcons must get some points on this drive.
So 1st down and 10 now from the 34-yard line. Stowers back to pass, throws in the flats to Bush, who gets it up to the 42-yard line. So an 8-yard pickup on 1st down.
Using the quick screen in lieu of running plays, a smart decision at this juncture for the Falcon offense.
2nd down and 2 coming up from the 43-yard line. The Falcons quickly back to the line of scrimmage. A little bit of more urgency here, down 17-0 in the ball game. Stowers' pass intended for Javorius Vance, who is unable to make the catch and has injured himself as well. On the play, he landed awkwardly. He collided with an Oxford DB and then landed awkwardly, and then the pass came in. So it was a bad stretch there for Javorius.
A bad sequence. You're right. Collided, then slipped, and then, like you said, had to dive for the football as Stowers was thrown to a spot on the field and then landed awkwardly. So 1:23 to go. We're going to have an injury timeout here on the field.
And they'll check on Javorius. We'll take a timeout. Columbus Falcon football continues after this timeout. 17-0 Oxford. This is the Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSV.
Arthritis, heart disease, respiratory disease, osteoporosis, diabetes, nutrition, falls and fractures, depression, hearing loss. The list of issues affecting seniors' health goes on and on. At OCH Regional, we have the services you need to maintain or improve your health and well-being. We can help you be well and live well at every stage of your life. Whatever your health needs, OCH is here. We know a healthy life is a happy life.
All righty, Houston leading Aberdeen 36-22 tonight. Marshall Academy leading Oak Hill 14-0. Starkville Academy has beaten Leake Academy, I believe, 21-13, but I know Starkville Academy has won, so they've won the district championship tonight. Jackson Prep is in town. They're leading New Hope 31-21 at the half, so we may, we just slide on down the road, and if they're having dinner after the game, we could be there before it's served.
Some football after dark up all night over in far eastern Lowndes County tonight.
Louisville is leading Kosciuszko 41-7 tonight. Knoxville County has won. Not sure of the final, but they've won, so they've wrapped up their region championship tonight because the person covering that game has tweeted me that they're through, and I'm proud of them for that. Good for them.
Handoff up the middle.
The handoff goes up the middle. Patrick Jackson carries it all the way into Oxford territory. It is another first down for the Falcons, a 10-yard pickup.
And a nice run play there. 3rd and short. They had to get a yard. They picked up a handful of them. And once again, they have it in Oxford territory. Question is, can they actually turn this into a productive point-scoring drive?
Certainly still time to make something of this ball game. Offsides defense against Oxford. If you are able to score in the next minute 2 to 3, certainly you're back in the ball game.
Yes.
Oxford, 1st and 5.
Oxford right now dropping a little bit extra defender or two in zone coverage. They seem to be content right now to give Columbus the underneath stuff.
Tupelo has beaten DeSoto Central 48-14. Stowers the pass to Kenneth Martin, and that is a ricochet interception. That is a bad break there for the Falcons. Kenneth had it, and it is simply stripped and goes the other way. And the interception will be by Jamar James, who's a senior linebacker.
Well, I could not see, Scott, who actually got their hand on the football.
He did as well.
So he got
the strip and the interception.
Well, that's an incredible individual effort, because you're right, it was not a deflection, but Martin had it, and he came in and knocked it out of his hands into the air and then grabbed the interception. 3rd pick tonight thrown by Stowers, but that one was not his fault.
Yeah, in a situation where the player was going for the ball and not for the tackle. And simply he saw the ball loosely being held and went in. Before Kenneth could secure it, he went in there to make the stop. The first down pass is incomplete.
Down by number 11, Randall.
And Jordan Randall is in on the pass breakup.
Not a bad idea. Oxford going for the kill shot, if you will, after the turnover. That quick change or sudden change that coaches always like to talk about. Oxford trying to go for it. Their first long attempt towards the end zone we've seen tonight from McClure, and nice coverage there by Jordan Randall.
2nd down and 10 coming up from the 39-yard line. Pontotoc leading Itawamba HS 21-10 tonight. 2nd and 10, McClure hit as he throws, and the Falcons just barely missed the interception, and that would have been Devin King going the other way had Devin been able to make the pick there.
You're right, that had pick 6 written all over it. Devin had jumped the route, and McClure actually threw the ball so poorly that it could not be caught or intercepted. That's one of those instances where a bad throw actually works in your favor for the offense.
Can I briefly point out that the only way you can lose this game is by throwing the ball? Can I get that out real quickly?
I'm writing it down.
And then
50 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Scott Walters says throwing the ball is the only way that Oxford leaves the door open for Columbus.
South Haven and Oxford played each other. Somebody had to have won. So I guess that's what happened there.
How did they do it?
Probably played to midnight. Heavy pressure on McClure this time. He's hit as the ball is thrown, and it is incomplete.
And Columbus will take that all night long. Defense was ready for it. They got pressure on McClure once again. Fantastic stop. Now what will Oxford do on 4th and 10?
If I ever coached, they would not. I would get complaints about how many people came to my games because they would not be coming to watch the all-out aerial offensive attack.
I mean, what's the famous line from the Hall of Fame coach from Texas, Darrell Royal? Someone asked him why his teams don't throw it more. He said, well, 3 things can happen when you throw it, and 2 of them are bad.
That's correct. So I would be that defensive-minded, you're coming to win games, not coming to see a bunch of points type philosophy. Here is the punt from midfield. It will go out of bounds and almost takes out photographer Chris McDill. Chris is not as quick as Latarius Stowers is. We learned that on that particular play there.
35 seconds left.
They will guess at where that ball went out of bounds. It could be just anywhere. It could be a 10-yard range, and they would be right.
It looks as if they're going to give the benefit of the doubt to Columbus in that situation. They're going to say the ball went out up around the 25-yard line.
So a 14-yard kick officially, first down and 10 from the 25 with 35 seconds to go in the third quarter of play. And Oxford's leading 17-0.
Good job to not let Oxford get more points on the board.
Stowers again throws for Kenneth Martin. And, okay. Ball is overthrown, but they're going to let the DB from Oxford just shove Kenneth around the 40-yard line.
That was odd. They could have, if they wanted to, they could have called it defensive holding for sure. But maybe the fact that it was a badly overthrown ball got into the official's mind.
They've turned in a Visa card to the press box.
Ms. Randall, please report. We have your Visa card.
No, well, there you go.
About to swipe it.
Second down and 10 from the 25. Stowers back to throw. Heavy pressure this time. They're going to get to him behind the line of scrimmage. He cannot get away from the initial guy. That was Pegues again, the defensive one. And he is back for a 7, 8, 9-yard loss on the quarterback sack. And that will bring up third down and long. And certainly the Falcons, for the most part, have kept Stowers upright tonight and kept the pressure off of him. But on that particular play, Oxford gets back and gets the big sack. That runs out the third quarter. Oxford 17, Columbus nothing. This is Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSB.
I'm Alejandro Escobedo. Most people don't know there's a link between certain viruses and cancer. I found out when I was diagnosed with hepatitis C. I learned that up to 65% of all liver cancers are caused by hepatitis B or C. That's why I've partnered with the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Liver cancer is preventable. Getting screened, vaccinated, and treated isn't scary, but cancer is. To learn more, visit thinkaboutthelink.org.
Alrighty, headed to the fourth quarter of play, senior night at Falcon Field. Columbus will face a third down and long when we resume play. Third down and 19 coming from their own 14-yard line. And as we enter the fourth quarter of play, Oxford has a 17-0 lead in the ball game. And Anthony, we talked about it pregame. This is kind of what Oxford does.
They simply play fantastic defense. Certainly one of the better defenses in 6A this year. And they do just enough on offense to give their defense a bit of a cushion. Usually it's about the third or fourth quarter when they do get that cushion built out. This is the exact same thing they did last week against Horn Lake to hand Horn Lake their first loss of the year.
The Falcons have gained 5 yards on the change of the field. This has happened twice this year now. And they've spotted the ball at the 19 to start the fourth quarter of play.
I mean, how does that happen?
It's stunning. Stowers is back to throw, throws over the middle, pass is caught, and going down for the first down with a very good spot is Patrick Jackson.
Excellent second effort by Jackson. When he made the catch, it was a nice throw by Stowers, by the way. Jackson makes the catch 2 yards shy of the first down marker, and then moves and had a man wrapped around him, and then moved the pile forward to get the chains moved.
Ball will be spotted at the 36 officially. First down and 10. Excellent spot on that play. Stowers this time cannot get away, and he's taken down for the 2-yard loss. Falcons have done a great job tonight of protecting him, but here in the last couple of possessions, it's gotten away from him a little bit.
We've seen our first 2 true sacks by the Oxford defense on this drive.
We have an injured Oxford player they are attending to. Starkville has beaten Murrah 56-0 tonight, so that's 5-0 in the region now for the Jackets. And we have an Oxford player Being attended to, that is number 40. So that is junior defensive back Avani Jackson.
He is sitting up, but clearly, judging by the look on his face, is in a great deal of pain.
No, okay. Now that he's rolled over, we got a different number. We're going to change his
38.
Yes, we're going to change his identity. And that's going to be sophomore lineman Kyon Williams.
That may be the young man that just got the sack.
Players up, number 38, Williams.
He's going to get to the sidelines on his own accord. West Point is ahead of Grenada tonight. They are trying to wrap that region up. Win tonight would do just that. The final 2 weeks of the regular season, classes 2A, 3A, and 4A will end next week. 1A, 5A, and 6A will have 2 more games after tonight. The clock is put back in motion, 11:24 and running here in the fourth quarter of play. Oxford leading Columbus by a score of 17-0, and the Falcons will have it 2nd and 12 now after the injury situation has been resolved from the 34. Pass this time to Derek Jordan, who picks up about 3 yards before being spun to the ground at the 37.
Yeah, they're going to mark him down at the original line of scrimmage to bring up 3rd and long.
So 3rd down and long coming up for the Falcons here, with the ball at the 37-yard line, their own 37-yard line.
We've already seen a long 3rd down conversion on this drive. Can the Falcons get a second one to keep the drive alive?
Stowers takes it, rolls out to the left, throws, passes incomplete. The intended receiver that time was Jared Bush. There was some contact at the time that the ball got there, but it was a clean play. And the pass is incomplete, and Columbus will be forced to punt the football.
A big stop for the Oxford defense to get the ball back, it would appear, with less than 11 minutes left and a 3-score lead.
Chris Taylor will stand on his own 25-yard line and punt the football. Falcons do not have the right personnel on the field.
Someone not paying attention.
Here is the snap. Punt is away. And it is a fair catch signaled at the 27-yard line. The kick returner ran with it.
and ran hard, too.
But that was Byron Pearson, who had a running lane once everybody stopped on the fair catch.
It's amazing how that works. We should call fair catches more often.
We would be right now having a 10-minute conference in South Haven. The officials would ask, what was that just happened there?
And they would have thrown 2 flags and then picked both of them back up.
So 1st down and 10, Oxford from the 28, 10:21 to go in the ball game.
Officiating is a difficult job, so we don't take it lightly. But the crew last week in South Haven had a tough night.
Handoff to number 1.
Waddlington this time takes it around the right side, picks up about 2 yards.
Waddlington came into the ballgame, Scott, with almost 700 yards rushing on the season. That's after missing a couple of ball games and has been, for the most part, kept in check tonight by the Columbus front 7.
The Starkville Academy final was 21-13 tonight, so they win the district. 2nd down and 8 coming up from the 30-yard line.
It's a big win for the Balls. Congrats to Starkville Academy.
Oxford simply, most likely, will want to run the football here.
End around.
And it is an end around this time with a little bit more success to Samuel Bianco. Picks up about 4 yards, and that will bring up a 3rd down and short.
I'm going to assume that Samuel is one of the sons of Mike Bianco, Ole Miss baseball coach. It is dangerous to assume, so I'm assuming with caution.
9-10 clock running here in the fourth quarter of play. Final home game of the season. We have a whistle, stoppage of play, and flags. There's a lot of confusion out there.
I'm trying to see. It looks like Oxford might have a couple of reserve offensive linemen in the game now, Scott, and And like you said, about 3 of the 5 linemen moved early on that previous snap.
But the good news is nobody did push-ups. I guess when 3 of them do it, you really can't take 3 of them out at the same time.
Do you blame that on the quarterback and make him do push-ups? But you're right. We haven't seen anybody run off the field immediately and do push-ups since we saw one Oxford Charger do that back in the first half.
So 3rd down and long now. McClure is back to throw. Here is the pass, and it goes to a drop. The intended receiver had a step on the Columbus secondary, and that is Jaquan Webb, and the pass is incomplete. And
Webb had a step, and the ball was thrown well, and Webb probably should have caught it. That may have hit him in the hands or hit him in the arms, and he simply did not secure the football.
So the Chargers will punt the football here. Choctaw County over South Pontotoc 35-6 tonight. Oklahoma beats Biggersville 34-0. Poplarville is ahead 63-26. I bet that's been exciting.
Thrilling, I'm sure.
Pillow has beaten Magnolia Heights tonight 42-7. Here is the punt. It goes end over end. Jordan Randall semi gets away from it. He's not going to field it, but he's going to stand there close to it for some unknown reason.
just trying to fake out the coverage unit.
41 yards on the kick. 1st down and 10. The ball will go over to Columbus from the 28 with 8:48 to go in the ball game.
And Scott, for Columbus, you're simply running out of plays and running out of time. We mentioned on the previous drive that getting some points certainly had to be the outcome. Instead, you had to punt. Now you're in a situation where not only must you score a touchdown or at least a field goal, but it has to happen somewhat quickly.
All righty, Stowers on 1st down throws to Derek Jordan in the flats. He's taken out for a loss behind the line of scrimmage, about a 2-yard gain, about a 2-yard loss rather.
And now you're in a situation where if you're the Oxford defense, you know Columbus has to throw, and so we're seeing a lot of cover 2 and cover 3 with the DBs and the linebackers for the Chargers.
Now, Knox Pater has beaten West Lowndes 29-0 tonight. Elsewhere in Lowndes County.
It's been a tough year for the Panthers.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. So 2nd down and 11. They're going to officially spot it a 1-yard loss there on that play. This time the handoff up the middle. Patrick Jackson, 35-yard line, 40, taken off of his feet there at the 40 on about a 13-yard run.
A nice run by Jackson, his best run tonight from scrimmage. And right now the Oxford defense going to give Columbus those types of plays, knowing they're up by 3 scores with 8 minutes to go.
So 1st down and 10 now from the 40. Clock moves inside 8 minutes. South Panola has beaten South Haven 28-7 tonight. Final there. We'll be at South Panola next Friday night. Stowers pass complete to Derek Jordan, taken off of his feet at the line of scrimmage, so no gain on that play.
Nice open field tackle to prevent yards after the catch.
Hattiesburg leading Picayune 41-37 tonight.
That is
2 minutes to play.
That's the Jackson Ledford Bowl.
It is. Winona has beaten East Webster 33-17. 2nd down and 10 now. 7:22 clock running here in the 4th quarter of play. Oxford led 7-0 at the half, and they lead 17-0 at the moment. Here is the snap back to Stowers, who throws after about a 5-step drop to Patrick Jackson, or that's Derek Jordan, isn't it? And the play goes up to the 45-yard line.
And Jordan is slow to get up.
Yeah, we're going to have a timeout to attend to him, so a 5-yard pickup on that play.
Nice job by Jordan to make a move and get some extra yards. The running backs had done a good job with the running game not working tonight with that Oxford front 7 playing well against the run. The running backs, Jordan and Jackson for Columbus, have had nice nights receiving, nice nights catching balls out of the backfield. And that last play was another example of that, as Jordan was able to turn it into a 3rd and manageable 3rd and 5 situation at the Columbus 45-yard line.
It will be interesting to see when Calhoun City leading LaFleur County 70-29.
That score makes a little sense.
It'll be interesting to see how Randall Montgomery assesses this ball game.
Yeah,
it's been the last couple of weeks. I mean, it has not been a football team. I mean, it's been a team trying to get there, but a team that's really struggled in a lot of areas of the ball game.
Trying to find enough guys to make basic football plays consistently has been an issue, but clearly a better game tonight than last Friday at South Haven.
Yeah, certainly have played much better in just about every phase of the game tonight. Pass this time is complete.
For a first down.
Out of bounds. That is Jared Bush along the sidelines that takes it out after the first down gain. We talked about it though multiple times this year. I've done this a long time. It's been a football team that has struggled to have any breaks too. You have the potential interception by Devin King earlier in the ball game. They're normally in the course of a season, there are 3 or 4 bizarre plays that go your way and 3 or 4 bizarre plays that go against you. And we haven't seen that either way this year. The games have been clean. The other team has won legitimately, and there's just not been a lot of breaks this year either way.
And you're right, and that's odd to go through an entire season and not have one of those series or halves or quarters or games where something really good out of your control happens to you and helps you out, as Stowers on that first down play rolls out to his right and gets hit and dropped for a big time loss. He loses almost 10 yards on the play.
And there are enough veteran players on this team. They know how to win. So I don't think it's a learn how to win type deal. They're playing hard, so I don't think the confidence is lacking.
Right.
It doesn't look like a timid team. It doesn't look like a team that quits. It doesn't look like a team that is discouraged. It's a team that competes for 4 quarters every Friday night. It just has not found the answer. Second down and long, Stowers will roll out to his left, and the throw is in traffic, and the pass is complete.
Well, I think they're going to come in and say incomplete, Scott.
Incomplete. Kenneth Martin was the intended receiver. They are going to call it a trap.
He had his hands on it and then got hit and dropped it.
So with 5:40 to go in the fourth quarter of play, there'll be a stoppage of the clock there, and Columbus will be facing a 3rd down and 15.
And even though you're on your own side of the 50, it's probably 2-down territory right here. The ball game probably rests on the next couple of plays.
St. Joseph's beats Purvis 67-36. A lot of just strange ones tonight. Stowers rolls out, throws, passes short, incomplete, and that will bring up 4th down and 15.
And I'm not quite sure what the play call was there. And Columbus is going to give the ball back to Oxford. Just 4th and 18. Not a whole lot of plays in the playbook right there. You're down by 3 scores. This might do it right here for Columbus.
So Chris Taylor is on to punt the football. He'll stand on the 31-yard line. Here is the kick. Fair catch called for this time and fumbled, but Oxford makes the recovery at the 23-yard line.
And again, a potential break that still does not go the way of the Falcons.
32 yards on the kick, 5:27 to go in the ball game. Oxford will take over 1st down and 10 from the 23-yard line. The seniors, 14 of them playing their final home game tonight. 2 games left in the regular season. This, of course, will eliminate Columbus from a playoff consideration. Certainly a season you would have liked to have had Stowers at full health throughout the season just to see exactly how far this team could go. But at the same time, sophomores and juniors, and a truckload of them, have gotten valuable playing time this season. And we'll see what that parlays into for the 2018 campaign. Oxford has put reserves in. Waddlington, though, is still getting the carry. The backup quarterback is in. That is John Mager. He's a sophomore. And the carry goes to Waddlington, and he picks up about They're late moving the down box, about 4 yards.
And give the Falcon defense credit. The starting quarterback for Oxford, McClure, came in completing over 65% of his passes and had thrown for over 1,000 yards on the year. Not prolific passing numbers, but very consistent passing numbers. And the passing game was simply sniffed out and snuffed out by this Falcon defense tonight, early and often.
Heavy pressure. McClure does throw it from the back, off of his back foot. It's completed to Wadlington, who is taken down by Quintrell Lyons.
And of course, Oxford keeping the clock running, as you would imagine they want to do with the reserves in.
Yeah, McClure came back out. I think he must have had an equipment. I think he had an equipment issue. I think they.
Is he back in there now?
Yes, he's back in there now. I just think they ran Mager out there for a play because of that.
Well, this will be one of McClure's, in terms of passing numbers, one of his worst outings of the year, because that Falcon defense has done a nice job tonight.
We have a stoppage of play. We have a timeout called.
Oxford did not like something they saw with the way the offense got lined up.
Timeout Oxford, 3:48 to go in the ball game, 17-0 Chargers. Timeout now on the. This is Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSV.
Are you searching for an opportunity to earn an advanced degree but can't attend class on campus because of work and family commitments? Want to learn from outstanding professors and gain the skills you need to advance your career at an affordable price with a flexible schedule? Mississippi State University's 29 online master's and doctoral degree programs might be a perfect fit for your busy lifestyle. You can visit distance.msstate.edu if you want to learn more. Mississippi State University, where we ring true.
Third down and 4 coming up from the 29-yard line. 3:48 to go in the ball game. Oxford trying to pick up a couple of first downs and get out of town with a victory. The handoff, again, this is Mager that's back in at quarterback. It's Wadlington that gets the carry, and he's stopped shy of the first down by about a yard. Well, they may give it to him.
Let's see where they rule forward progress.
Nope, short. They're not going to measure either. It's going to be short, so 4th down and 1 coming up from the 33-yard line.
That's a short 1 yard, too.
It is.
A generous spot given to Wadlington. You'd imagine Oxford now will take this play clock all the way down before they snap the football. And no surprise, they're going to put Pegues back there as the power back. It's a full house backfield.
Yeah, so 4th down and 1, and the Falcons are going to jump.
Well, I'm not sure who moved first, Scott.
Their false start. There is some.
Now some pushing and shoving going on.
Pushing and shoving, and how are you doing?
There was one. It was the right guard did move. Question is who moved first. I think it was going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be on Oxford. Isaiah Carroll simply asking different Chargers what they're going as for Halloween.
And there's still some jawing back and forth. Well, another opportunity here for Jordan Randall to return a kick.
It is.
The penalty stops the clock momentarily. 2:57 is all that remains, with Oxford in control, 17-0.
South Panola has beaten South Haven 28-7 tonight.
A big win for the Tigers. Our opponent next Friday.
Horn Lake is leading Hernando 14-7 tonight with 6 minutes to go in the ball game. And so that will wrap up the region for tonight. Clock is running. The Chargers will take it down before punting with 2:45 and running. Play clock's at 10 seconds, and they'll punt the football here and give it back to Columbus for one last time tonight. Here is the kick, high end over end. Jordan Randall at the 44 takes it there, and does not have a block, does not have a teammate, does not have a friend, doesn't have a packed lunch, and is taken down for about a 3-yard loss.
But he has his pride.
He does. And he's got the his balloons from the pregame. All the seniors got balloons.
And we've seen them all night long. Some of them have been in our field division all night long.
So Columbus will take over 1st and 10 from the 42 with 2:24 to go in the ball game. Had to go deep into the Twitter vault to find a Hernando score. That was not readily available.
And you said they are leading.
They are.
Horn Lake.
No, Horn Lake is leading 14-7.
Okay.
14-7 Horn Lake.
So Horn Lake trying to get it done with defense right now. Their offense is got a lot of guys out right now on the offensive side for Horn Lake.
We have a stoppage of play and a penalty here before Columbus can get the snap off, or we've got a timeout call.
It looks like they're going to.
Yes, they've called timeout.
Okay.
Oxford has called timeout. That's what I thought. Oxford has called timeout. We'll take it with them. 2:22 to go in the ball game. 17-0 Chargers. This is Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSB.
The collegiate recovery community at Mississippi State offers comprehensive support to students in recovery from drugs, alcohol, and/or process addictions. It's the mission of the CRC to provide support to those in recovery, those struggling with an addiction, or those affected by an individual with an addiction. If you could benefit from recovery services, know of an individual that needs to make steps toward recovery, are willing to serve as a recovery ally, or be a part of future recovery-oriented programming, please call the CRC at 662-325-3192 or email Blake Schneider at bschneider@saffairs.msstate.edu. For more information of support services provided by the CRC, visit recovery.msstate.edu.
Alrighty, first down. The pass goes to Patrick Jackson, who is going to pick up good first down yardage all the way to the 47 as the ball moves back into Oxford territory. That is a final now. Horn Lake has won 14-7 tonight over Hernando.
So it remains Tupelo 1, Horn Lake 2 in the standings. Now South Panola will enter into that 3 spots with their win tonight.
They've brought South Haven down into that tie with them for 3rd. Oxford will be in that tie as well. Okay, on the first down play, we have a collision between Javorius Vance and the Oxford DB, but the officials say there's 2:06 left in this, so.
No blood, no foul.
That's right. We're going to move this thing along. Warren Central has beaten Clinton 28-10 tonight.
Good night.
Yep, that's not what we'll want to see from the Arrows.
I mean, it's almost as if Cam Akers no longer plays for Clinton or something.
2nd down and 10 coming up from the 47-yard line. Oxford moves but gets back on the right side before the ball can be snapped. Stowers throws in the flats. The pass is complete to Patrick Jackson. Hurdles a man, breaks a tackle, goes for the first down again, all the way down to the 33-yard line.
It's been a good night for Patrick Jackson. Number 4 has had a nice ball game. Good to see he and Derek Jordan come out and run the ball well and run after the catch well. That bodes well, perhaps, for the next 2 ball games.
First down and 10 now from the 33. Falcons trying to get into the end zone. Stowers is back to throw, rolls around the right side, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Vance.
It's hard to tell exactly who Stowers was trying to go to that time. He had Vance. He also had a receiver 5 yards up the field.
2nd and 10 for the Falcons.
Is that Hickman?
Yes. Yes, he was the other receiver along with Vance. So 2nd down and 10 now from the 33-yard line. Heritage Academy has beaten Canton Academy 28-14 tonight. So big win for the Patriots to end the regular season. The pass this time, a little mix-up there. It was intended for Patrick Jackson over the middle, and the ball was thrown in a different area that Patrick was at. So that will bring up 3rd down.
This Oxford defense has certainly bent but has not broken. They've done a good job. Once the Falcons get it inside the 40 or 30-yard line, the Oxford defense answer the bell all night long, and right now trying to pitch a shutout over the Falcons.
So 3rd down and 10 now from the 33-yard line. Minute 46 left in the ball game. Stowers is back to throw, heavy pressure this time, throws it off his back foot. Patrick Jackson with the catch again, and it's going to be right at the 1st down. They're going to give it to him on another excellent spot.
And again, yards after the catch for Patrick Jackson. Initially, when he made the catch, did not have the 1st down and was able to make a few defenders miss and got the extra yards needed on this drive. Jackson has done a fantastic job with making plays after making the reception.
Ball down now to the 22-yard line. Stowers back to throw. Passes over the middle off the fingertips of Javorius Vance, who was down and hurt after the play. There's also a flag. Could be a targeting call here.
That's going to be more than likely helmet to helmet. And Vance, to use the football vernacular, the helpless receiver or the defenseless player, to use the correct term, certainly took the brunt of that helmet-to-helmet hit.
And as soon as the play ended, Fred Harris motions to the bench to please come out there and get medical attention to him as soon as possible. Fred was right there on the play and saw how hard the hit was. And Coach Montgomery is out there, as well as the medical staff attending to Javorius. This penalty will move the ball inside the right around the 10-yard line with 1:28 to go in the ball game. But right now, all the thought and focus is on Javorius.
And again, a bang-bang play. Hard to tell from our vantage point exactly what happened, Scott, but Vance went down in a hurry immediately.
Yeah, the pass,
helmet came off.
Yeah, the pass was slightly overthrown, and it was a helmet-to-helmet with one of the Oxford defensive backs. And as soon as Javorius was hit, his helmet came loose and flew through the air. And the medical staff is out attending to him, and Coach Montgomery is leaning over him as well.
You certainly never want to see any injuries. And hopefully this is not a serious one.
Well, while they attend to Javorius, let's take a timeout. 1:28 is all that remains in our ball game. And Oxford leads by a score of 17-0. We'll be back. This is Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSB.
MSU employees and students have the ability to control unwanted email with MSU's web-based spam control system. Stop Spam. To learn more about protecting yourself from unwanted email, direct your web browser to stopspam.msstate.edu. For additional assistance, contact the ITS Help Desk at 325-0631.
Alrighty, they are going to signal for the ambulance to come out onto the track and to assist Javorius and try to get him the medical attention that he needs. Certainly disappointing time. All the Falcons have now gone back to their sideline while we have this stoppage of play. It's been an unusual ball game, Anthony. It's been a difficult season to say the least, but it's been a season in which you have looked for some offensive consistency, and we didn't know coming in how healthy Latarius was going to be tonight, and he has looked good to me. He has looked like he is,
yes,
if not 100%, certainly close to it.
He certainly has played better tonight than I was expecting. Close to 200 yards passing, if not over that mark tonight. Certainly one of his better ball games, and considering that he's not 100%, you got to commend him and the wide receivers and the coaches on offense to put a plan together to make things as easy for him as possible. It certainly bodes well for him, not just for the next 2 ball games, but as you look ahead to a 2018 season in which he will be turned to as one of the team's leaders offensively.
And you have also seen tonight, I like the balance in the offense. Well, the balance is normally pass or run is what you're used when you say balance, but that's not what I'm getting at. I like the number of receivers that have been used. I like the short passes versus the long passes. And really, the big key tonight is not only Stowers playing well, but the offensive line has given him the time to make plays.
And again, when you talk about the progress of this O-line for Columbus, we've said it throughout the year, it's baby steps. And tonight, clearly, the pass protection was maybe as good as it has been all year long. That's fantastic. Now the next step is become more physical at the point of attack on running plays. When you have to get 1, 2, or 3 yards, create that small crease for your running backs to get those 1, 2, or 3 yards. That's the next step that this Columbus O-line must take, and it's just Region 1-6A is unforgiving. No one feels sorry for you if you have a young offensive line. It's just the opposite. They're going to exploit you.
Meridian has upset Petal tonight, 28-21. Did not see that one coming. That's a big win for the Wildcats.
That's huge.
That actually keeps them in the running for second place in that region in 3-6A. And certainly with the defense, if anything, it's been really hard to get a read on the Columbus defense this year. They have playmakers. They do not have as many playmakers as you would like to have, but it is a unit that has played well and certainly given the offense a chance almost every Friday night this season. It has not been a big play defense, and it has not been a turnover-causing defense, which is what we've had in the last couple of years.
Right.
Is a year ago the defense gave up the big play, but they also were going to contribute 2 or 3 turnovers during the course of a ball game, and the ability to recover fumbles, strips, and get the picks has just eluded this team this year.
They still are attending to the injured Columbus player, Vance. And obviously your hope and your prayer when they're going through these steps is that these are all steps being taken as a precaution.
Now, coaches are on the field as well as some of his family members. The Columbus Falcons have gone to the sideline and taken a knee for a moment of prayer. And the Oxford players have gone to their sideline as well.
Oxford's head coach also has come out onto the field to check on the injured Falcon.
17-0 is our score. It was 7-0 at the half. And the Chargers scored on their first 2 possessions of the third quarter to stretch the lead, and that's what we have now is a 17-0 ball game. Elsewhere in the region tonight, Horn Lake has beaten Hernando, and then Tupelo has beaten DeSoto Central, and South Panola has beaten South Haven. So realistically, obviously Tupelo is the team to beat. They still play Horn Lake next Friday night, but having seen the 2 teams head-to-head, Horn Lake is going to have a very difficult time scoring against the Golden Wave.
I mean, I think Tupelo might have a difficult time scoring as well on Horn Lake, but you're right. Horn Lake's offense, we saw it. It's good, but it's very one-dimensional. And if you get one-dimensional against Tupelo's defense, they're going to figure out a way to stop you.
And so Oxford is at 3-2. South Haven is at 3-2. South Panola is, aren't they? 3-2 as well.
South Panola is now officially 3-2.
Okay,
correct.
So there are 3-3-2 teams in the region.
And we won't know who has the full tiebreaker there until after. Well, actually, all three of those teams have played each other, haven't they?
Right. And realistically, those are the 4 best teams in the region. I don't think there's a lot of debate about that.
This is very true, and it's one of those situations where, I guess really it's those five teams,
right,
yeah.
Right.
And once you get past those 5 teams, I think Columbus is the best of the rest. We'll find out when Columbus plays at Hernando in a couple of weeks. But like we've said in years past, if you have a young team in Region 1 6A, even with a few new players, there's no Starkville, there's no Olive Branch. You've got, in recent years, Hernando moving in. This year, Oxford moving in. Some of the faces change, but the fact remains it's one of the toughest regions every year in all of 6A football. Actually, in all of football, period, in our state, regardless of classification. And when you have a young team, it usually ends up being a very long season.
They have placed Javorius on a headboard, and the next move is they will get him to a stretcher. And hopefully, obviously we will not know anything before we leave the air tonight, but we will, print media and Twitter and our friends will keep you updated throughout the weekend when we do hear something from Coach Montgomery or his staff on the health of Javorius, and hopefully it's not major, and we can see him next Friday night at South Panola.
That definitely is our prayer. Everyone has, from our vantage point, everyone has responded the way you're supposed to in this situation. And again, obviously, the best case scenario here is that they're doing right now all of this, the laying him flat to make sure he doesn't move, putting him on the board, putting him on the stretcher, that all this is being done as a precaution, and that things will check out good for Vance when he gets to the local hospital.
West Point has beaten Grenada 48-0 tonight. Starkville has beaten Murrah 56-0 tonight. We have not seen anything on Jackson Prep New Hope here in the second half. That game was also being played in Lowndes County. Starkville Academy winning tonight. Heritage Academy winning tonight. Prep is leading New Hope 45-28, and that was about 30 minutes ago with 10 minutes to go in the game. So that's been the New Hope theme for this year. They score a lot and give up a lot, and we have been there. We have done that. We've played that role before ourselves a year ago with the type of team that. And that's really, when you get right down to this season, that's the other thing that Columbus has simply not had. They've not had that one dynamic playmaker. And I'm not talking Kylan Hill, because he's a once in a 15, 20-year type player.
Right.
But normally you have that one dominating presence.
A stud.
Offensively or defensively.
Right.
Who will fill the stat sheet and change the complexion of a particular game.
Take over a game, exactly.
And it's a good group and a hard-working group and a very likable group, but there is not that one player that stands out above all others. And sometimes other players, when they play with that type of star player, play better than they really are because he gets them to that level. They now have Vance on the stretcher, and they will wheel him to the ambulance, which has been driven out here to the end zone. And we will finish the final minute 28 of this ball game. Certainly a tough night for the Falcons, and certainly a team that's going to be a little shaken by the current turn of events. On a helmet-to-helmet hit, as soon as the ball was in the air, Javorius collided with the Oxford defensive back, and the helmet came off quickly, and Javorius immediately hit the ground and was unable to get back up on his own power. And the medical staff has been working probably close to 10 minutes on him, and they've taken him to the ambulance. The mark-off on the penalty should put the ball down around the 10 or 11-yard line when we get back to play, which will be easily Columbus's best field position of the night. They have been in the red zone one time, and that was when the final play of the half when the field goal was blocked. Well, they've signaled roughing the passer. Okay.
Well, I mean, the flag was thrown
unless that signal means two different things. I mean, roughing the wide receiver, maybe.
I did not see the actual hand signals. It results in the same type of penalty, but that would be incredibly odd if that's the call instead of personal foul on the DB on helmet-to-helmet contact. That's where the flag was thrown.
Right.
So I think it's been so long, perhaps the head official forgot what the actual penalty was.
So the ball is at the 5-yard line, so Columbus will actually get 17 yards on the mark-off of the penalty. So first and goal from the 5. The ambulance is still actually parked on the track, so we will be able to resume play while they get that situation, get him on the road to hopefully good medical news. First down and goal from the 5-yard line when they put the ball back into play. Minute 28 left. I believe Columbus has all 3 of its timeouts. Scoreboard has not been tracking them tonight. I normally track them but have not. First down play around the right side. Patrick Jackson, touchdown, and the Falcons have scored. Patrick Jackson takes the carry and goes around 5 yards around the right end. On senior night, the senior gets into the end zone.
And a nice moment for him. He was the bell cow on that drive. Nice to see him finish it off and like you said, get a TD on senior night.
So a 5-play 58-yard drive, and that took 59 seconds, and the Falcons have scored.
Now Taylor's PAT.
The kick is up and blocked.
And Oxford was offside. That's why it was blocked.
Okay. So we'll have a retry on that.
We saw that play in the first half as well, and we thought perhaps Oxford on that field goal block as the first half expired was offsides. No penalty there. Here they were clearly way offsides, and the penalty is thrown, so we'll get the retry on the PAT with 85 seconds remaining.
Columbus, of course, will try an onside kick once we go back to the activity on the kickoff.
And the Falcons tonight, Scott, have not quit. They have fought to the last second here and should be commended for doing so.
No, and it's been the situation all year with them. Mississippi missed the extra point attempt is up and good. 1:25 to go in the ball game. 17-7 now in favor of Oxford. We'll have the Columbus onside kick after this timeout. Columbus Falcons football on 91.1 WMSB.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Columbus moves 58 yards, 5 plays. Patrick Jackson with a 5-yard touchdown run officially. Chris Taylor's extra point is good, and it's a 17-7 ball game now with 1:25 to go in the game. Miss 98 scoreboard just tweeted, "You're still playing." Well, yes, we're still playing. That would be correct.
Yes. Thank you for checking in.
So there you go. We're still playing. 1:25. This onside kick here, if not fielded by the home team, though, will bring things to to an ending quickly. Columbus instead kicks it deep. The Chargers field it at the 8-yard line.
Well, I'm not sure that's what Taylor was trying to do.
I think he was trying a sky kick.
Yeah.
It just went too far. Sometimes, though, when you're at the pizza buffet, you've had enough. It's time to go home.
And that's one of those signs. If there was any sliver of hope for Columbus, that should do it as Oxford takes over. Oxford's going to move to, overall on the year, Scott, an impressive 7-3. They have the odd 12-game schedule this year, no open date, and they will move to 3-2 in Region 1 6A. Columbus falls to 2-7 and 1-4, and now will be on the outside looking in on the playoffs for the first time in 3 seasons.
They have taken a knee here on first down, and so that will get us going.
Columbus will not stop the clock.
So we'll have probably one more play. Depends on if they hold the play clock or not.
Right now, 40-second, almost exactly a 40-second differential between play clock and game clock.
They will take one more knee here, and then timeout Oxford. Okay. Sure. Why not?
I mean, you can't take them home with you.
No.
Perhaps they want to discuss what they want to do. If they take one more knee, they might get a safety.
And Ajax is already closed for the night, so it's not like you're going home to dinner.
No.
So.
Well, that's an odd one. But clearly something was not going exactly the way the coaches wanted it to go. Maybe they're trying to get some youngsters some playing time. Let mom and dad see them play. Go home happy. It's a fur piece from here to Oxford. Right at 2 hours?
Yep. So second down upcoming for the Chargers. They will need to take 2 more knees, and again, I would think one would do it. They'll hold the play clock, I would think. There is the knee. It's taken right around the 3-yard line. Jackson Prep beats New Hope 45-28 tonight. That's their final. So they beat us. They were behind most of the night time-wise, but were able to get theirs done. Alrighty, they are going to hold the play clock, so that will do it for tonight. Senior night at Falcon Field is in the books, and the Oxford Chargers have come to town and taken a 17-7 win over Columbus. Oxford 17, Columbus 7. Our post-game report is next. Columbus Falcon football on 91.1 WMSV.
Imagine a world where food is not a privilege, but a right. A world where there is room at the table for everyone. Where food technologies are developed, perfected, and shared to feed the world's growing population. Imagine a world without hunger. We are at Mississippi State University, where we ring true.
Imagine rescuing a downed pilot behind enemy lines, securing a landing zone through hostile fire, or saving lives during a natural disaster. You can keep dreaming, or as an Air Force Special Operations Airman, you can live it. Call Staff Sergeant Michael Ballard at 662-364-7994. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force and WMSV 91.